Yeah, why not? That's certainly for you for open use there. So we are officially recording the first of our 6 sessions, unless we, what the heck, decide to go a little longer, but that I've created for the Westwind Chronicles. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to enter the world of Vocuria. Vocuria, for those who know what this means, is set in the Forgotten Realms. The Forgotten Realms are your classic D&D universe. There are dragons and mages, there are adventurers and barbarians, beasts that roam in the forest, and evil ghosts, ghouls, and goblins that lurk among the mainland. However, we're not going to spend our time on the main continents within Vocuria, because we're heading west, to the ocean, in fact. In the Westwind Ocean, distinct civilizations dot the sparse and uncharted islands. No creature has managed to chart the vast ocean. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot the most important ingredient. Yes. Now we can begin. No creature has managed to chart the vast ocean. Some believe that this is due to the fog of oh my goodness.
You want to try it again?
Yeah, I do want to try it again because I realized that go, misread it. Cool. Redo. Some believe that this is due to the fog of Umberlee that covers the very center of the expanse and forces ships to circumnavigate this fog in order to avoid certain death. Others claim that the sandbars themselves shift under the mysterious influence of the changing tides. Finally, others claim that the gods manipulate the ocean currents to forever hide the mysteries in those open waters. Regardless, there's one thing that all of the Westwind civilizations share in common: a constant watch of the nighttime skies. As fishermen, merchants, and pirates travel across the waters, they always pay heed to the signs in the stars. Over time, the adventurers discovered that certain constellations began to glow and impart their incredible power to those brave enough to meet the stars, quote, where they touch the horizon. So, let's take a moment and get to know the quiet fishing village of Lagoda. Lagoda is at the end of a string of islands known as the Grasping Fingers. Long, narrow islands that reach up to the outskirts of the fog of death and look like a hand grasping for something inside of it. While life in Lagoda is similar to the other Westwind Islands, in that it is primarily made up of seafaring folk with an economy in fishing, weaving, and maritime trade, the people of Lagoda are noticeably more fascinated with the signs of the stars, due to their proximity to Umbriella's fog. I'm going to say her name wrong at least 3 more times.
Wait,
Umberlee's fog. Thank you. Umberlee's fog. Some Lagodans have spent their lives studying the stars in the hopes of discovering its secrets. Others have built businesses for the occasional adventurers that set up camp in Lagoda before adventuring into the fog. Rumor of the power and riches await adventurers has always provided a slow and steady stream of wayfarers to the Lagoda and beyond. However, within the last 60 years since the fog's appearance in the middle of the Westwind Ocean, no adventurer has ever returned after they've entered the fog. So we now enter the year of 1075 AO. The year of the Lord Ao, in what is now called the Pass of Chantia, the 4 gods that reign over the seasons in the area. Chantia, if you're curious, Chauntea, the goddess of summer. And as summer begins, we find ourselves on the island of Lagoda. But before we head to the school of Captain Maverick and the Wayfarers Academy, we are going to learn a little bit about each of our 6 characters. And so to do this, I'm actually going to pull a very traditional storytelling maneuver and just create some flashbacks with all of you. So, as I introduce each of your characters and describe a little bit about who you are, I'm going to describe where you are, and you'll just act out a little scene with me. So that's how we're going to start introducing each of our characters.
Hey, Ash Ketchum.
Alric Murphy wakes up in his 2-story house that looks over the harbor. In the Grasping Fingers, he lives on the island of... Making sure I've got my names correct and consistent. Yes. Of Nautara, Naltara, the second of the Grasping Fingers. Lagoda is the fourth, and it's spelled the way you think it is. Nautara is the naval base in which the co-op of 4 islands pool their resources to create a naval military resource that can defend the 4 islands against any potential pirates, marauders, or invaders. As Alric wakes up in his bed, he realizes that he has to get down quickly if he is going to make his early morning training with his brother and his father. As he wakes up, he notices that there is a looming figure standing over him. This half-elf is a little taller than Alric, about 6'2", and as this broad-shouldered, strong, and toned half-elf stands before him, he looks at him with disgust. Alric! Come on, man, what are you doing? If you don't get down in the next 5 minutes, then Father's gonna be on both of our hides. And he grabs you by the tunic that you're wearing in bed and pulls you out of bed. Hey! He smacks you upside the face twice. Hey, you in there? Come on, dum-dum. We gotta make sure that we get down in time.
Okay, Zeke. All right.
Zeke turns around and he says, you know, we've had 30 sparring sessions in the last 30 days, and I was wondering how many of those you've won recently. He pulls a notepad out of his pocket. Oh, none of them. Anytime you're gonna shape up and give me a real challenge, dum-dum? Or are we gonna have another one of these crying fits that you seem to have at the end of our sparring matches?
I just don't want to embarrass you in front of Father.
Yes. Right, I forgot how effective it was to embarrass someone by putting up a meager fight, but how about we shape up right now? Let's get some practice in. I want you to roll an athletics check as you wrestle your brother in the middle of your room overlooking the harbor.
Good. 6.
He actually didn't roll well either, but he's got crazy bonuses. So he immediately cross-arms you and pins you back to the floorboard by the side of your bed as the creaking of the wood under the weight of both of you standing there on top of each other. And he says, right. Okay, well, I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a fighting chance. My goal is to go through our entire sparring match only using my non-dominant arm and hand, and try to beat you without Father noticing that I'm going easy on you. I'm telling you this in advance, of course, Alric, because I want you to fear me. Obviously. All right. He bristles as his exposed arms with his sleeveless shirt show hair all the way down to his forearms. And he pulls back his blonde, slicked hair underneath his cap, and he turns to the door and says, right, 2 minutes, by the way. Oh, and I stole your breakfast. I didn't think you'd need it. You don't seem to be burning enough calories as it is. And he walks down the stairs behind you as he looks up and he says, but if you ever want to quit, that's fine. I'd be Father's one and only favorite child, and you could go off to some remote island out there and study what it means to get away from all of this. I did notice there was an invitation on the counter there. Did you save that from downtown? The Wayfarers Academy? Maybe you should go there. Okay, I'll see you at the sparring grounds. See ya! And he slams the door behind him as he takes off down the stairs. Within a few weeks, Alric would find that his father, Cyrus Murphy, would gradually lose interest in him as a potential successor to his naval position, instead choosing to favor his older brother Zeke instead. Trying to find some desperate way to earn his father's approval, Alric would decide that maybe the way he could earn his glory was on the seas. He took the invitation, eventually packed his bags, and when he told his father that he was going to be going away for some time, that he would return at some point that his father didn't know, his father shrugged and said, "Well, when you're back in town, let me know of what you've accomplished." And with that, Zeke left his home in Naltara and ventured to the Wayfarers Academy, where he would where he would spend the next 2 years studying under Captain Maverick. Let's move on to, let's make this one more random because the interaction here. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's who I was going to pick anyways. To Cyrano Duverial II. We find Cyrano in her bedroom, in a chamber in an underwater city of Imani, one of the dukedoms of the Atlantis underwater aquatic kingdom. As she is preparing for her day to go to school, she finds that her mother has stepped into the room and is watching her as she fixes her hair and prepares for the day. Her mother, whose name I will memorize eventually, the Duchess Cyrano Duverial I, go figure, stands in the doorway. Sweetie, I appreciate the work you're putting into this, but you know that it's not really about how you look, it's about the way you interact with and land impressions with your behavior and your poise. This is lovely, of course. She goes to fix a part of the fixture that you put in your hair. So, what are your thoughts about today? Do you find that you'll fit in now that you've been appointed with a special position?
Well, I'm sure my friends can't treat me that much differently than they used to. And also, Mother, appearances are half of an impression.
She chuckles to herself and she straightens a part of this long, flowing, teal, translucent robe that she wears that has kind of the look of crashing waves at the base with the seafoam color. She says, "I do suppose you have a point there. As the daughter of the Duke, no matter where you are, it is important that you carry yourself with poise and grace. Your reputation on the mainland is a very important one, and I know you can handle it, but you need to make sure that you're focusing on the ideals of our society. Okay, today we announce that you will go up to the surface and spend the next 3 years venturing among the mainlanders in hopes of increasing the diplomatic relations with the Atlanteans as a whole. There aren't many islands nearby, but I've heard that their growing influence in the past years has been important for us to take into consideration. Okay." She takes you within both of her hands and she kisses you on the forehead. "Go to be proud." Later that day, the announcement would be made by the Duke Nolamen Duverial, Cyrano's father, that Cyrano would begin her journey along the surface with the intent of spending a period of time getting to know the cultures of the surrounding islands in the hopes of returning with diplomatic relations that would help the Atlanteans, specifically the Dukedom of Imani, in building good relations with the nearby lands. As you entered the surface, you found that it was really important for you to discover a new opportunity to explore the different islands, and that you, by living by yourself, would need to learn some of those seafaring capabilities. You discovered the Academy of Wayfarers and decided to join, spending the next 2 years with your fellow classmates. Let's move on to Briella. You chose the last name Aldemir, right? Briella Aldemir?
Aldemir.
Oh, good. Okay, glad I asked. So, because I wasn't sure if I had given you that name.
No, I chose my name.
Great. So, Briella Aldemir. So you grew up on the island of of Torringtos, Toringtos. This is the largest island of the Grasping Fingers, the 4 islands on which all of you are based, but is also the capital of the area. It is the largest and the furthest to the northwest in the Westwind Oceans. It also serves as the island as the center for both the capital, shipping regulations, and banking. It is definitely where most of the political activity takes place, and it is also where, a long time ago, a pirate by the name of Captain Haraday Aldenir sailed...
Aldevere.
Oh, sorry, thank you. So in my notes, I have to fix every iteration of me mistyping this, which will take 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. Where Captain Haraday Aldevere sailed in some 30 years ago. As he spent some time in the port, he got to know your mother, a strong and independent innkeeper named Amaril Aldevere. And as Amaril and Captain Haraday fell in love, they eventually had a child that stayed at the end and grew up behind the innkeeper's counter, both as a bartender and as the vagabond that all of the local pirates knew very well whenever they sailed into port. Many of the pirates knew Briella supremely well for her ability to hold a crowd with her rousing shanties, as the pirates would gather around and hear her sing the songs that her father once taught her, ones that he learned as he ventured to far-off places. But as time went on, her father began to make longer and longer trips out into the sea, eventually taking months and eventually full years on end in between each of his expeditions, while her mother had to run the inn in his wake. Briella became a sort of adult peer to her mother as the two of them worked together at growing the business that was their inn. And while times were pretty good for the inn as a whole, there was a hunger in Briella's heart that she would eventually move beyond the inn and take up a position next to her father as an adventurer. We enter the inn, which I haven't named actually. Would you like to name the inn that you and your mother run?
No.
We'll name it later.
The Naked Mermaid.
It's a very provocative inn.
It is not a by the hour inn.
Very short inn. We enter the inn during a rush hour of sorts, which tends to be around 11 p.m., as many of the late-time dwellers are unwilling to go back to their rooms to stay because there is a performance going on in the middle of... You don't have to.
Okay.
As Briella finishes her song, the pirates stand around and they cheer. Ah! Ha! 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 Briella, one of them looks at you. No matter how long I'm away from home, you always bring a smile to my heart. Thank you for this. And he tips you a few extra coppers as he tosses it on the table. And then your mother walks into the room and she says, Okay, it's time to clean up. Everyone that's here, unless you have a special tab or one of the rooms upstairs that is under your name, I'm going to expect you to go ahead and get out of here. They laugh because she's clearly jesting, and they say, Okay, Amaril, let me give me a few more shots and then I'll be out of the way. And so she very deftly pours them across the table, smacks them down, and slides them to some of the patrons at the bar. And she says, That's the last one. Look, I'm all out. And she takes the jar that is clearly still full of liquor and tosses it onto the top shelf. And they say, grumbling as they exit, and your mom turns to you and she says, Seems like the crowds seem to be growing a little bit, huh?
It would appear so.
Yes, I was thinking. You talked to me a few days ago about this seafaring academy. I know that you've reached... Do you have an age for yourself? Like a solid age?
I
had you at like 19 or 20.
I'm 24.
Okay, 24 is fine. I know that your 24th birthday was just a few months ago, and you've spent too long stuck up in this coop with me. I know I said no previously, but... Ugh. And she pulls up a glass, and she pours one for you as well, and she hands it to you. You deserve your own life, and there's something out there for you. I don't want you to become your father, but I sense in you a desire to see more of the world than just this inn and this port. Okay, I've made my mind, and I refuse to change it. So before I change my mind, I demand that you pack your things. Tomorrow, I'm going to take you down and buy you a ticket to Lagoda.
Okay.
You're going to go there, and you're going to study under Captain Maverick. And if you decide to come back, I surely won't complain, but I have a feeling that you will find something there for you.
Do I have to take a boat? Is it necessary?
She says, well, I'll be honest, darling, that's part of the hope with the Seafaring Academy. But, you know what? I've got a very strong potion that should help you with your courage on the waters. She pulls the jar back down from the shelf. She pulls you 2 flasks of ale, and she hands them to you, and she says, Captain Harriday used to call this the potion of the quivering seaman. Take these with you. So you can add 2 flasks of ale in your inventory.
Cool.
And it should help you. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot my special touch. She takes back the flasks, and she pulls a few ingredients from under the shelf, and she does a little bit of a cocktail, mixes it up, and then she puts it back into your flask, and she hands it back to you. And she she gives it to you and says, it's a little something special. You'll know it when it kicks in. And so I'm not going to tell you what this ale does until you drink it.
Okay.
But you now have what we'll call we're gonna call 6 servings. So it's 3 per flask. 6 servings of we're gonna call it Mama Amaril's ale. And so you now have that in your inventory. And the next day you set off on your journey for Lagoda. Let's move on to our next character. Cool. Do I want to do? Yeah, I absolutely want to do this. So we head back to Naltara, but at this time, instead of a building overlooking the harbor, we go to the Naval Academy itself, where we're going to meet Coriatus, or Bubba.
Who are you talking about, me?
Bubba's sitting in the middle of a classroom as an instructor is yabbering on and on about very boring and hyper-specific naval formations and how they apply in specific situations, the maintenance of ships and what weapons are able to do in combat and maneuvers and blah.
It's 7
blah,
o'clock.
blah, 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 blah. Coriatus! Did you hear any word that I just said?
Huh? Are you talking to me?
Right then, okay. Tell me the answer then. What maneuver do we do when there's a double cross-side strike and we are low on ammunition?
I'd drop anchor, do bootleg, and load off all the cannons on one side at them.
You notice as a lot of the students around you start chuckling and snickering amongst themselves, many of them young men who have joined this academy to try to make a better life for themselves, make some money, send it back to their families, or to earn glory as a naval commander. The man that stands in front of you, he looks down at his shoes, which are finely polished with a black fit. He's got these cuffed pants that are rolled up very precisely. And he looks at you wearing his pretty goofy looking hat and says, I don't even know what a bootleg is. What is you're gonna throw whiskey at them? You're going to What is this plan of yours?
You shoot the gun! Yeehaw!
Coriatus. This is unacceptable. I think I need to have a word. It's got a 5. I'm gonna have to report this to our standing officer. And so then you see a taller, burly man walks in and he says, Lewis, what's the matter here? And Lewis looks at him and he says, Admiral, Coriatus is... I understand that whenever we have outsiders from some of the more remote islands, we need to pay some respect for the sake of our navy as a whole, but he looks over and sees you chewing on your fingernails. He's an imbecile. The Admiral looks at him and he says, Lewis, he's a private, just like you. And the two of you together will learn what it means to work together. That is the way. Lewis says, I can't work with this. He smells like onions for some reason. And frankly, it makes no sense that someone like him would have even gotten into our academy. He says, Lewis, everyone has a talent. And there are reasons why we've admitted all of our students here at the academy. You would be wise to accept that. And Lewis says, fine. Okay, Coriatus.
Call me Bubba.
I will do no such thing. You should shadow me during our exercises. The Admiral pats him on the back and he says, I like the way you think, Lewis. Show him the ropes. Literally, he might not know which ropes there are. And he walks out of the room. Over the coming weeks, you would spend the first month of your training within the academy working alongside Lewis as he desperately tries to bring you up to speed. But over time, Lewis become more and more disillusioned and frustrated with you. He would continue to catch you tinkering with the materials and supplies on deck with no regard for the drills or the exercises or any of the studying or the homework that you've been assigned in the academy. Eventually, there'd be a day where he would call in the Admiral, and he would do a demonstration of a particular maneuver that sailors are supposed to understand when they're in the Marine Corps. You recognize that this was the same maneuver that he had taught you in your exercises. But when you go up and perform the maneuvers that he specifically showed to you, you recognize that everyone else is doing the opposite of what Lewis had been teaching you the whole time. The Admiral is overseeing these operations and notices that you, unlike everyone else in the academy, almost seems to be deliberately disobeying the orders of the captain, when in reality you're just following what Lewis told you to do. You would fail the first quarter exam and would be instructed by the Admiral to collect your things, that you would be leaving. Bubba did not have a very great life before deciding to venture off on his own and try to join the Marines, this naval military service. He was hoping that would be enough for him to make enough money for him and his family back home on the mainland. But since he's been removed from the academy, he doesn't have many options left. You discovered, as you were looking through some of those materials and supplies that you had been slowly stealing from the Marines, from this naval academy, that you were able to fashion them into something that the Marines had never seen before. It was a combination between a cannon fixture on one of their ships and some of the materials that you had been swiping from the barracks that were in the academy. And you were able to develop an armed cannon that you could carry with you due to your immense strength. You continue to work loading and unloading ships at the docks there at Torringtos, but eventually found that there was more for you out there. You saw a flyer on one of the port walls of this Wayfarer's Academy, and so, with your trusty culverin cannon in hand, and with not much money to your name, you decided to work yourself a ticket on a ship that would take you to Lagoda. And so you ventured to go and meet Captain Maverick and the others. Let's move on to, we have to left. We're going to move on to a beach. A beach on the southern side of Lagoda, where a young water genasi is walking alone by himself along the waters. And so we're going to meet our friend Brian Palagari. Brian frequently walks these paths because at a certain time of day, there are certain creatures that are a little less shy about moving up onto the beach and giving him the opportunity to commune with them. As he is walking along, he notices something off in the distance. I'm not going to have you roll for this. It's pretty straightforward. You noticed that there are some sea lions that are making loud noise. And you instantly recognize from your past time in monitoring these waters that they are primed to strike, as though they have been working together to hunt down and corner some prey. You run up and you see that there is a baby seal in the midst of them, attempting to waddle its way up onto the mainland and avoid the grasps of these sea lions. What do you do?
Hey there, little buddy. You look a little out of place here.
You're gonna love my seal voice. He goes,
So I look down and then I shoo off the other ones.
shoot, shoot, shoot.
I
He's
shoo
gonna
them all
stare you
away.
down. Do an animal handling to see if you can. Basically, it's an intimidation. It's like an intimidation, but for animals.
That is a 9.
It's a 9.
11.
Okay. They linger for a little bit, but you do notice that slowly the 3 sea lions they back off.
They don't move quick enough. I take my staff and I start whacking them on the head.
You strike.
Get
You
out
strike
of
one of the
here.
sea.
Get out of here.
And they eventually get back in the water and swim off. And this baby seal looks up at you. I'm gonna have you do a perception check on this seal with advantage because it's more of a nature check, but we're gonna do perception.
That is 18.
Okay. So you look at the condition of this seal, and you're surprised to find that it actually doesn't look like it's taken any damage from these sea lions. In fact, its skin looks noticeably smooth compared to other like seals and baby seals that are in this area. The baby seal looks up at you, and it goes, "Oh," and you can tell from just this interaction with the baby seal that it instantly trusts you. So I want you to let's do another animal handling check, this time on understanding some of what the seal is trying to communicate.
That is a 18.
18. The seal does a bit of a waddle dance, and so it's on the beach, and it rolls a little bit, and it cocks its head, and then it wiggles a little like this, and then it flips back up quickly, and then turns out towards the sea and points its nose. And what you glean from this is that
That was cute.
it really, really wants to find somebody that has the same silver stripe down his stomach. And so he then walks up to you and he lifts his fin as if to take your hand.
So I grab it.
Okay, so essentially you're like holding his hand, and you notice that from then on he follows you absolutely everywhere you go. Sometimes it's hard to even get him to leave you alone, but he is very loyal, sleeps by your side every night. And because you are a water genasi, sometimes you go for long swims. And you have spent some time searching the nearby parts of Lagoda, but you're unable to find the parents or family or home of this baby seal. And as it grows just a little bit larger, you decide that you need to try something different. As a druid and one who has sworn under the leadership of Istitia, who, for those of you who don't know, this is essentially the water elemental god. You have sworn yourself to protecting the creatures of the ocean. both in terms of maintaining the ecosystem balance between life and death, but also in protecting creatures from harm. And so you want to learn more, but you've never been able to get too far from your island, and you discover the Wayfarers Academy, eventually deciding that you're going to explore, get to know some of the people there, and hopefully learn what it means to journey to other parts of the ocean in the hopes of finding this baby seal's family and protecting more life that are there. Okay,
The seal's name is Hornk.
What's that?
The seal's name is Hornk.
Hornk! Hornk is the name.
Hornk.
Got it. A Hornk. Let me write that.
Stop. Hork.
And Hornk. Okay, great.
Is he a chonky hork?
Oh yeah.
Chonky hork.
He's grown a little bit. He's a little chunky. So, which takes us to our last one. So we're gonna go back underwater this time, but instead of a sort of an enclosed underground breathing area that the Atlanteans would typically use, we are going to go into what is a removed underwater cave in which glistening corals shoots colors off of the walls and have been arranged so as to create palettes within each of the rooms. As we enter, we see Shui. Shui is standing and she is holding a letter. This letter has been given to her from the Oracle, which is a position that each elven community, including aquatic elves, have. And so the Oracle of your underwater city has written you this letter, and it reads as follows. Dear Shui, I understand that this is quite a responsibility for you to take on. And if I had anything to do with it, I would have given you more time to learn about what this means. But some prophecies don't give extra time for elves to understand. Sometimes we have to do the best with what's given to us. I've given you the directions to a contact that will be able to help you within the coming years. They will be a great resource to you as you learn what it means to hone your powers and to discover what the prophecy has for you. His name is Captain Maverick, and he runs a school on the island of Lagoda in the Grasping Fingers. I've given you directions on the other side of this sheet of paper. And so you turn it over, and it is in waterproof ink, yay, a map to the Grasping Fingers with Lagoda specifically highlighted.
You mean a pencil?
What's up?
You mean a pencil?
Oh, because, yeah, I mean, yeah, true.
It's like NASA's thing.
And so you are reading this, and your father, Nylian Oromai, is that how you're pronouncing it? Oromai, okay. I will get it eventually. He stands there as he's just given you this letter, and he says, you know, I always knew that you would do something really special. I just didn't think it would be this. And he gives you a close hug. It's sort of a very slow, calm hug. And he says, I wish I had something to say, but frankly, I don't know much of what's going to happen in the coming years. Then your mother walks in. Her name is...
I get both parents this time.
I thought you would actually say that. So your mother's name is Nushala, Nushala. Nushala Oromai walks in and she says, I know what to say. And she looks at you and goes, this is going to be a great journey, but there is someone who will be with you no matter where you go. And she gives you a necklace. So she takes it off of her own neck. This is one that you've seen her wear a lot. And you see that on it is what looks like a coiled serpent. So it's got kind of a swirl and then a spiral at the end. And it's made out of just a golden material on a really thin chain, a golden chain. She puts it around your neck and she says, I think that you will meet someone who will bless you with the powers you need to solve this. And then I'm realizing that everyone else at this table doesn't know what the prophecy is, and I didn't build that into this flashback.
I don't know what the prophecy is either.
Your father says, "So you've forgotten already?"
I mean, I'm not very smart.
So he looks. So I'm gonna explain it. So the prophecy. So when you came of age, there's a ceremony among your people that places each of the elves into basically a type of either magical focus, like an arcane focus, or a divine focus. Think like Divergent, I guess. If you need like a really quick reference, there's a big ceremony for this. And they read into what your bloodline has presented for you. But when you went to this ceremony, the oracle stopped as she spoke over you and predicted this. The oracle, the prophecy reads that someone of this particular bloodline would grow immense in power, powers unchecked, and would be the savior of our people when the storms grow high and the lightning strikes. And this prophecy was spoken over you specifically, and you began noticing that you were gifted with magical powers emanating from essentially the I'm going to tell you what your patron deity is. All aquatic elves have a pantheon, but their patron deity is named, and I think this is such a weird but cool name, Deep Sashelas, spelled Sashelas, who is the patron deity of aquatic elves.
Sashelas.
It's like Sash and then Elas. Yeah.
Okay.
And so your mother looks at you now in this flashback and says, I think you should try to find him. If ever you see the signs of this necklace, whether it's in the sky, in the waters, in the currents, go there and pray to Sashelas. I believe that he will meet you where you are. And so she gives you this necklace, and you have your instructions to go to the Wayfaring Academy. Shui would eventually go to the surface, where she's never spent an extended period of time. She's amphibious, so she can't breathe on land, but she is now walking among the land dwellers, goes to the Wayfarers Academy, and spends the next 2 years with the rest of you. So now it's time for a bit of a time skip. All of you have now been together for 2 years. You have your individual motivations and stories and reasons and blah, 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 but so that we can get this adventure underway, it is now back to the year 1075, and as all of you sit in this school, I'm going to describe what it looks like, and I'm going to describe the man that stands before you. All of you are sitting in what looks kind of like...
Wait, before you start describing that, as a quick note for Sean is the only person who hasn't been here. The bathroom is right here. I've opened the door, so you know where it is. And then here's a blanket for you. Thank you. And then pizza's coming in like 10 minutes.
Great.
Probably.
That should work fine. So this is the room that you stand in. Lagoda is a small island. It is the fourth of the 4 islands, and kind of like a pinky finger is the one that is both the smallest and that is the closest to the fog of Umberlee, which many explorers have simply called the fog of death. Nobody that enters exits. As you sit in this academy, you notice that only about 7 miles out on the water, which you can see from where you sit, there's a looming, dark, cloudy haze of clouds and winds that swirl much faster than you would expect, that are right there. Many of you have grown accustomed to some of the people that live nearby. There is a professor who is exclusively moved as close as possible to the storm so that he could study the astrological signs that are over the water, that have their strongest influence at night and closest to the center of the fog. You have the Adventurers Academy, and there are a lot of stores that are completely dedicated to the few but consistent number of adventurers that come to Lagoda, stock up on all their supplies, and sail directly into the fog, never to be seen from again. as all of you sit in this room, it looks kind of like a martial arts dojo if it was made exclusively out of just like driftwood. So you've got a very flat and open room that's about, let's say, 80 by 80 feet long. There are sliding doors that take you into the back room where there are specific activities that all of you have, and you all sit on the floor. There's a small raised stage in front of you on which Captain Maverick stands. Now, Captain Maverick, he is an imposing older gentleman to anyone who lays eye on him. He is both tall, at about 6'3", but also big. Broad wingspan and shoulders, large biceps and thighs. And as he stands there, this hairy-chested, just hardcore pirate-looking pirate of a pirate. No peg legs, no eye patch, if that matters. Stands with his gait just perpetually in what looks like a stance where he's gonna pull out his guns. Like just like an akimbo power stance. His fingers are always parted, like he's ready to grapple or to wrestle somebody. But he stands there in front of you with just traditional seafarer's attire. This is usually a light tunic that's laced at the top. His is like a white color, and then like a black leather shouldered jacket that has, black and leather shoulders and sleeves that go down and have cuffs that are tied at the ends. And he's just got regular red slacks that go down to his red, tall boots.
What
And
color red?
Red.
oh, like crimson,
Red.
like a crimson red.
What's his
Black
hair-
boots. Sorry,
what's his
if I said
hair
red
look
boots. You can't see his hair. His hair. It's got like a dark brown color, but it is basically mostly wrapped up in a bandana, which I don't have. But I have this.
Does
I'm
he
gonna do it.
does he have any facial hair? I'm forming a mental image.
Yeah. He's got a really thick but short beard, like a coarse beard, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. This is my new thing. Very bad props. I only need some next.
I'm gonna bring you a bandana.
Arr. All right, cool. Let's actually do this. This is probably gonna diminish a lot of his actual stature. So he stands and he says, "Oh, and by the way, there's about 12 other students in the room with you. So there's about 18 students that are here." And he says, "All right, and that's how you tie a fisher's double overhand swing slam cannoneer kajam knot." And he holds this comically large knot in front of you, which has way too many steps. And he looks at all of you and he says, "All right, show me what you've been able to tie up." Yes.
I tied something really like elegant that basically looks like a bow.
Got it. Less utility, but the aesthetics are charming at least. You.
I'm kind of stuck here. Can you help me out?
Accidentally wrapped it around his neck.
No, I'm completely tangled in this rope. It's through my legs, my arms, and wrapped around the top of my head as well.
Bubba, you seem to be tying a noose there for yourself. I recommend keeping it off of your body.
Okay, sir.
Briella, tell me what you got.
I made a noose because this is boring and I'm never gonna tie this knot.
I like the way you think, but maybe give it another shot. Yes, Alric, what do you have for me?
I just tossed it to him, perfectly done, every single step.
Oh. Show him.
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed. I didn't know that you were capable of such knot tying skills. Shui, what do you have for me?
I'm a super overachiever, so I was like following along with every step, and it's a little wonky, but you know, it's there.
Okay, and he looks at it and he says, I like this, but you need to have more confidence in your earlier strokes. If you pull them tighter at the earlier steps, it makes it easier to make it cleaner as you move on. I like it though. Here you go. And he turns to you, Brian. Brian, what do you have?
Brine, just brine, like briny water.
Oh, briny?
Yeah, like-
oh, I just misheard you. Okay,
Brine.
Right.
Not Bryony, just
I totally
Brian.
thought you were Brian.
Okay.
Brian.
Okay, so
Not
R-I-N-E.
Brian. It's just
Bryony.
Brian.
Brian.
Oh,
No,
got it.
Yeah, it's not Bryony, it's Brian.
Okay, Brian Paligari. Got it. Okay.
What is
Cool.
your actual name?
Sean.
Sean.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
It's
know.
Brian.
No, that's what I thought at first. I was like, you asked him what his
Yeah, I
name
know.
was, and he was like Brian, and I was like, you didn't know his name.
That's funny. Okay, cool. So he looks at you and he's
So I give it like a best effort.
Okay.
Maybe like a B minus. Like
like, you have a B minus not. He's like,
I kind of like I tried, but I'm like also like I don't know.
he looks at it and he goes, all right. It's about a B minus not, if you ask me. He hands it back to you and he says, but what are grades for out here? Okay. Now, there's something that I wanted to prepare for next. But I don't have enough space for all 18 of you. He obviously went through all the other knots and gave people some feedback as they were going through. Alvic,
Yes, sir.
I need you to do something for me. Step on up in front of the class.
I walk up.
He looks at you and you're intrigued by the fact that he pulls something out of a black bag that was tied to his side. It's like a small little satchel bag, and he pulls out what looks like just a really smooth black obsidian rock. It doesn't have any markings on it. And he says, I've got a challenge for you. I want you to squeeze this rock in one hand until it breaks. So what I need you to do is a raw strength check. Your goal is to break it with one hand as the rest of the class watches. Sweet. So the rest of you were watching as Alric, who's so confident, steps up in front of the class. He's like, I'm totally gonna knock this out. And takes the rock and he starts squeezing as hard as he can, and you're confused that you can't seem to make any headway at all. You don't feel the pressure bending at all. And the rest of you see his veins start like popping out in his arm as he squeezes harder and harder. The veins in your neck start to stick out as you see this half-elf struggling with this rock. And eventually you squeeze so hard that it slips out of your hand and shoots off and falls to the ground in front of you. And Captain Maverick says, right, that was a little depressing, I'll have to admit. But, well, that's okay. Let's give it another go. And I need you to make a perception check for me. Actually, scratch that, insight. So take that number and give it insight.
Inside. Hello. Oh, frick. Seriously?
Can I pick up the rock off the ground?
Yeah, sure. You can pick it up.
Cool. I pick up the rock.
Start chewing on it.
One. Not that one.
Yeah, mod one. So you see the captain pick up the rock, and you feel pretty confident that he wants to throw the rock at you. So he's going to pick it up. Instead, Bubba picks it up instead. And what do you do, Bubba?
I hand it back to our like, here you drop this, buddy.
Awesome. He says,
I just look at him for like half a second and then take it. There you go.
I go back and sit down on the ground.
And then act as if I'm trying to ponder what universe cataclysmic event just happened.
So okay, so he then goes on to teach you a little bit about the constellations. He says that as kind of a shortened version, he goes, the signs and the stars are your best friends. Trust me, on all the adventures that I've been on, every time I was turned about, there was always the stars to guide me. And, well, I want to disclose something to all of you. It's not something I've shared with you yet, but you've been with me long enough to know. the stars, they have some divine providence. This fog of Umberley, this death fog as they call it, has only been around for about 60 years. But before that, there were stories of constellations reaching down and touching the horizon of the water. A place where land dwellers like you and me, or water dwellers, as he gestures to Shui and to Brian, where all of us could go and learn about these mystical creatures that dwell in the heavens or some place between heaven and earth. I never got the chance myself, but I would love to go there one day. Maybe when this fog seems to clear up. And he turns and yells out the open doors that are just open there. The weather's nice, it's early summer, and the island has a nice breeze. At the fog that is off in the distance. And you notice that the sunset begins to fall. The sun begins to set. And it gets a little bit darker, and you start to see some of the stars come out. And I would like for everyone to make a perception check.
Four.
I got a nat one.
6.
Who had modded higher than 15 or higher?
Not me.
Me.
Nope.
I think just Annie.
Okay. Oh my gosh, Kirano. So many names. Kirano. You turn and you notice something. Alric. You look down at your arm and there is a tattoo that's there. It's one that you got a long time ago because of a birthmark that you have. And you notice that the birthmark underneath your tattoo begins to glow with a very slight, super light blue, like a silvery hue. And Kirano, you also notice this. It lasts for about 2 seconds.
Do I feel anything?
You do not feel anything. And then it subsides.
For land dwellers.
That's a nice reaction.
I want both of you two to roll insight.
Wait, who? Me?
You two that just, yeah.
Oh. Me?
Yes,
Wait.
yes, you as
Yes.
Finally.
10.
15.
Alric, you see as Captain Maverick's eyes lock onto you for about a second. And then he quickly turns and says, well, sunset means it's closing time here at the Academy. Tomorrow morning, I'd like for you to bring all of your ship's equipment, so your masting and rope equipment, because we are going to go and do some basic setups for long journeys. Learning a little bit about what it means to prepare your masts and sails. All right, that'll be all. Class dismissed. And all of you prepare to leave, and he waits and catches you afterwards, Ulrich, and says, Ulrich, if you could meet me in the office for just a moment. What do you do?
I look around, and everyone's like looking at me, and so I scoff and just like, whatever, and then follow him to his office.
I want to eavesdrop.
You can try. Give me a stealth check.
I rolled an 11.
Okay, you roll perception.
Ooh.
Dang it.
Wait. 16.
So Captain Maverick and Alric both go behind like a door into one of his private offices. It's just a basic desk and some shelves that are there. And you begin to shut the door, and both you and the captain hear the footsteps of a half-elf creeping up towards the door to listen in on the conversation. And Captain, unless you want to say something, Captain Maverick, he turns and says, "Aye, who goes there?"
Nope. Nothing to see here.
He says, If you can leave us be for just a moment, that'd be great. I will see you tomorrow, Briella.
Okay.
And closes the door, and then he checks again,
I'm gone.
and he says, Alric, your arm there.
Pizza.
Woo!
That's what he said.
What's on your arm?
Thank you.
And he looks more closely, and he says, Boy,
That was easy.
you've covered up your mark there with
Can you hold
a tattoo. Sure. Now, where did you get that mark?
I had it since I can remember.
He says,
It's a big deal.
Come with me. And he takes you out back behind the academy and has you stand in the open moonlight underneath the stars. And he says, okay, I want to ask you a question. And I don't want you to answer out loud, but I want you to think in your mind. What is the one thing that you want more than anything else? And so you're going to think this in your mind right now, but go ahead and say for the table what you're thinking right now.
I'm thinking not necessarily to get my dad's approval, but to, I guess, not to be at a place where I don't need his approval anymore.
Okay.
At the moment, the only way to do that is that I feel I can do that is to get his approval.
Yeah.
By battling Zeke and doing all these things, but deep down I probably would rather just it not be a thing.
So you notice as you're standing there, Captain Maverick comes over and he takes your arm and he just holds it in front of you so that it's in front of your face and directly under the light. You're focusing on this thought in your mind, and he runs his hand over your arm and says, Come on. Oh, come on, please. And you have no idea what's going on, and it's really weird for your normally eccentric teacher to be begging your arm to respond to his command. And go ahead and roll a religion check for me.
Oh, frick. I did all the wrong things already.
This is more for
9.
9? Okay. You look up to the stars and you begin to feel the faintest hue of light, just a glow, begin from your arm for just a second. But then you get distracted by this sight and you lose focus of the thing you desire most. And so it goes away immediately. But Captain Maverick is overjoyed. He looks at you and he says, My boy! Oh, I saw it. You. Okay. I didn't think it was possible. I know what we're doing tomorrow. Okay.
Good, at least one of us does.
Okay. That'll be all. You can go home and rest up. I want you well for tomorrow. We have much to do.
We're not gonna talk about the whole star.
No. We gotta go. Bye. He runs off and leaves you in the moonlight as you stand there and you get to go to bed. Yes.
I want to intercept him and ask him why he's so special.
I mean, you didn't see any of this, but you're gonna.
But she's waiting outside the front like a creep waiting.
Oh, it's kind of waiting for you to be.
Like, I'm
Okay.
just waiting.
So yeah. So what do you do after this happens?
So I'm like. Okay. And then I go back. He went through and closed his office. Like,
Yeah.
He went through, closed the door, and locked it.
Yeah, he locked up the
Okay.
entire academy.
So good thing that I took my back with me when I went to his office. So I've got.
Fair enough.
I go around the side, and I'm just like coming around the side to the front and about to head back.
Okay. So he, so you then see that Brielle is standing there by the front door, waiting to see what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I see her. I just walk. I'm just walking. So,
I yell after him. Hey, hey, hey!
oh, it's you, the Snoop.
Oh, the Snoop, please. He's never called anyone back there.
Aren't I special?
Yeah, what makes you so special?
Oh, come on. Surely, it's not a hard question. And then I just walk off.
And I just roll my eyes and walk the complete opposite direction, even though we have to go the same way.
Got it. So all of you go home and you sleep, and morning comes and everything's pretty normal. The death fog is still 7 miles off on the coast, and the rest of you are going back to the academy, and you've brought some basic supplies to set up for a long ship's trip. And
Wait, while we sleep, we could eat pizza.
I trust me, I'm getting that. And he says, "All right, change of plans. We're gonna do something a little different today. You.
I would like to be volunteering, please.
Yeah, sure, you.
That's
Whatever.
something you have to do yourself, sweetheart.
Oh, God.
Let's see.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean.
So, yes.
Invisible, ignore him.
You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. I would like it if I could get some help. We're gonna do an overnight trip, just a few miles off the coast. I would like to have, let's see, you, and you, oh, and you, of course, and you.
Oh, do I have to be stuck with this one?
And you, you.
Make me with the baby seal, though.
That's true. Do we know he has a baby still?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, he comes to class. He 100% comes to class.
Yeah, I imagine Crocs or Horks.
Hork?
Horks
Hork?
Horks just like chilling, like laying on the ground.
And he says, "Okay,
You can totally bring Merlin to future episodes and he can be horned.
I appreciate all of you for volunteering for this very important final capstone activity that we are doing together. For tonight, we're going to have go ahead and get together and prepare for that and set sail. But today we're gonna cancel class today. How about that? Let's cancel class, and you 6 meet with me tonight. We'll be right here, and we'll go on my ship. Yes, question."
Are you still collecting the homework?
He goes, "Oh, yes, yes, your seashell collections. Yes, go ahead and turn them all in." And he holds open a bucket.
I toss in a couple shells.
He's, "Oh, very nice. These are excellent."
And then
drop
I
it.
notably don't turn in anything.
Mine are all like nicely
"Oh,
wrapped in
exotic."
crap.
What you get?
Empty bottle.
I don't know. I placed like a nice box in there.
Okay, great.
Mine's like 6 brown shells, like the ugliest shells. It's like I saved all the good ones for the sea.
Well, he said, "You have a sense of duty that I cannot possibly fathom." Yes.
By what will you measure our performance for the capstone?
Oh, well, the rubric will be, how far we get. Yes, it'll be an activity of collaboration and salesmanship. That
We're
is
selling stuff? I thought this was a boat school.
I just have
yes,
one
above.
request. Can I not bunk with Dingus?
Well, seems as though we have 3 girls and 3 guys and triple bunk, so... my hands are tied, so... so he looks, he
Dibs
says,
on the top.
"All right, all of you with me tonight." So day passes, you get your stuff, you show up at one of the small docks that's next to the academy where there's some basic boats, but you notice that this time there's a boat that you haven't spent any time on yet because it's the captain's personal sailing ship. This is a weathered boat. This is a boat that's been on many adventures, and you notice from holes that have been patched up and the scratchings and carvings and the ironwork or the wood stuff of people who've been there before, masts that have been battered and replaced, the scars of wars and battles. And as you get on the boat, he says, "All right, tonight we're going on a journey over there." And he points directly in the direction of the fog.
Oh boy.
And then he looks and he goes, "Oh, sorry, over there." And he points in basically the opposite direction, for, essentially a few miles away from both Lagoda and the fog. And he says, "Sorry, I sometimes forget myself. I sometimes wish that I could find out what's beyond that fog, but for now, it's up to you and your teamwork. So, I'm going to put you all in your places, and we are going to learn what it means to work as a team tonight. So,
What's the ship's name?
the ship is the SS Marigold.
Like the flower?
Yep.
That's a really like sweet name for a guy like Captain Maverick.
You like the name of my ship, do you, Shui?
Yes, sir.
I did too. I like that name a lot. That's why I decided to marry her.
That's weird. Sorry, I didn't say that out loud.
So he just stares at you and he's just like reading your face. And hey, I'm gonna see if you can kind of read your internal
Okay.
expression. He's like, "She was a fantastic woman. Ah, and a skilled fencer. That much made for a great honeymoon."
Who was she? Was she pretty?
Oh, Bubba. She was the prettiest thing that this sea has ever seen.
What happened to her?
He pauses. You roll insight for me. And he says,
I rolled a 4
Plus.
plus 1. No.
okay, he says,
5.
5.
"The life of a seafaring adventurer is dangerous for captains like myself and the wives that fight alongside them. I'm ashamed to say that I didn't go down with my ship that one day, and that she was taken from me." You
I'm
can sense that he is
sobbing.
sad about his wife being gone.
I'm crying.
You're
It's very
Yes.
sad.
"Oh, Bubba, please don't be sad." He pulls you in and he hugs you tight and he says, "I'd like to say that I have a new family with these students, but I do know that there's much more to learn than simply how to sail a ship. There is how to work as a crew. Today we are going to learn that."
Volunteer to be captain.
So he says,
I voted.
"Ah, that's very funny, but I'm the captain of this ship. What I will need will be these following positions. I would like a first mate responsible for cartography and directions. I would like a lookout responsible for perceiving our risks and positioning our ship. I would like someone to man the guns in case there's a risk.
I will shoot the guns.
You get the guns, sir.
Oh yeah.
I would like someone under the port of call. This person manages the quarters, the crew, and is the person that goes to their aid whenever they need assistance. So basically, like the crew's surgeon, like the ship's surgeon and or the quartermaster. So it's kind of the logistician. Okay, cool. I'm also going to need there's one word for all of this is basically going to be the rigging person. So this can be for masts, rudder, all that. You can be the one who has not gotten
I'll be the
position yet.
lookout.
Okay, so you look out and
I'll be first
Form
mate.
together
first mate.
options.
You'll get the last one because you weren't fast enough on the draw, and you will be the. Oh right, you are going to be
The lookout.
the no the lookout. Let's take it.
Brian.
So you are going to be the. You're essentially working resources on the ship, which is a combination of a few things. It is ammo for the guns. It is vital resources and storage. You make sure that, so you take inventory and you make sure that that all the resources are in their place, basically.
Good. That's
Cool.
what I was waiting for.
You also did, yeah. You basically do the HR, which is. Wait, sorry, hold on. Who
What?
took?
I'm quartermaster.
Quartermaster. Sorry, you're the HR person. You're the inventory master.
Okay.
If that's a quick way of summarizing
I was
it.
actually gonna say I volunteer
So, all of you.
Briella for that
Cannot
one.
wait. to
So all of you get on the ship, and he says, "All right, first, lay the main mast."
I quickly run over and I start. I untie the rope and I start hauling.
Aren't you on guns?
You're
I
good.
am.
I'm the rope person.
She's
Yeah,
rigging.
she's rigging.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
So
Come on, bud.
lay the main mast.
I go do that.
Go do.
Awesome. Look out! Tell us which direction we need to take for, and then he gives you the exact coordinates.
We have our heading.
So your job would be
I
to
think we go that way.
yeah. So you would basically determine how far, like what degrees of rotation you would take, and then you pass that on to the first mate.
About 15 degrees west.
Perfect.
15 degrees west.
Awesome.
You know which way west is there?
He does. You all know at least this much. And he says, "All right, keep an eye out for any risks out on the water. And you, keep our supplies on the ready. We never know what might happen in these waters."
Aye, aye, Captain.
What am I doing?
And as you begin to sail into the waters, the rest of you look up and you notice something peculiar about the captain. He looks much more youthful and energetic than he has in a long time. But you also notice something else. You notice that behind his eyes is a soft and eerie silvery glow. And with that, we will break and have some dinner. So, let's eat some pizza. Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, who's in charge of the galley? Who's in charge of cooking?
Oh, that is quartermaster.
Quartermaster?
I'm gonna poison you. I have a plan.
Okay, so plates, peppers, pizza.
Beverage.
No, it's not sort of P. Plates, peppers, pizza.
Poison. Take your poison.
Poison.
Well, reverse. I'm parched, so parched, reverse.
Oh, you got a whole
Herbs.
box.
Parchers.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. I think they gave us way more than 10.
Okay, yeah, so I'm not gonna bother listing all these drinks. You drink any of these. Wait, don't steal all of the wine.
The wine's over here.
Okay, cool.
Or I can have one of each. What's more necessary? I didn't even make you do this. I won't put that about taking a pepper.
Yeah, no, please do.
Just go ahead and grab it and eat.
Just checking.
Dear God, thank you for the food and bless it to nourish us.
Yay.
Now it's pizza.
Help me shoot the gun. I got a lot really fast.
I'm gonna try really hard not to put my toaster oven in.
I believe in you.
I'm so happy I didn't give that to you. I can't wait to poison her.
Fun fact. Wait a minute. I
Give it
get
to me on accident.
I get like
Oh, you steal his food.
Yes.
I think I get advantage on some sort of poison check or something anyway, maybe?
How?
Wait, halfling?
No.
I'm immune to lightning damage.
How?
I get advantage on dexterity.
Thank you guys.
So yeah, actually no.
Yeah, no problem.
You're
No,
welcome.
we're muting charm. As half elves.
And
We actually do like this making
I
dinner and
have
serving it.
a special.
Yeah.
I carry will help out.
Because I know last time
I'm so
you guys made a great pasta.
Of course.
Oh man, I think
Lot of
the
stuff
best
to do.
pasta match before and after.
was
Like you can just
right
play
about
whatever
to
shifts you want. And
steer
then
it to
you have a
make me
45-minute
fall.
match. And you just play, and then you go to Hot Toddy afterwards.
Okay.
With a discount on the burgers. So,
But if you think Austin Rex works, does class.
At my constitution also.
I never
Because I spend my time traveling, being beat up by
Yeah.
know the basics.
this is
I
only
know
a
this.
class, so that's a good idea.
I don't stand next to people
Yeah,
at
this
work.
is super fun.
I forget how tall the shoes I put on. I stand next to somebody, I'm like, oh.
Great.
No, not.
I mean, with the reason
Yeah. Yeah. One of them have muscles.
you can imagine like a society where only men were wearing heels all the time. Like 4-inch heels walking around.
You would make me sad if I was
What did you play?
Why do you have high dexterity?
Oh, same.
Nice. You play for Syntax ever? Syntax on
Okay, shows it.
I didn't grow up in Texas. I grew up in Florida. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I get
That
like
makes sense.
a-
Sorry, I assumed that you did.
I was like, probably a Texas
Oh,
half
yeah.
elf.
Yeah.
I've never
Urban,
heard of it.
so.
Well, I mean, like, how you work that into your story.
Did you march as well?
Because I
I
grew
mean,
up on
actually,
coast, so I know
I
marching.
So I went to a summer camp when I was in
Okay.
fifth
Okay.
grade. I was like 10. But that's all the punching that I've ever done.
Yeah, so, I mean, people run into me, so I'm like holding a tray I get run into, I gotta catch it.
Okay.
What's your character?
24.
Yeah, I'm 23.
Oh.
I'm 75. Andy, how old is your character?
19.
She is child.
How old is your character?
I didn't really determine it because I was going to figure out the backstory first, so I don't know, probably 20-ish.
Okay. So Atlanteans like reach adulthood at 16, and so I came to the land at 16, and then we've been there for like 3 years or 2 years.
2 years.
2 years in school.
Oh, okay, then I'm like 18 and a half.
Yeah, so the character I had originally designed for this game was like a cross between Moana's grandma and like Betty White. And like I was so excited, and then Nathan was like, "So it's gonna be at a school," and I was like, "Oh, never mind." So I made a new character up on the fly, and it's great.
Start to the school. You're
What are your characters?
very likely not going to spend your time at this school.
Yeah, it's gonna be with a bunch of young people,
That's true. Yeah, that's the.
young whippersnappers.
Half elf gunslinger.
Half elf bard.
Oh, I'm an Atlantean monk.
I am a sea elf sorcerer.
So I'm a Genasi druid.
What is that?
Gnostics are super
What is that?
They're like humans that have like elemental blood. So they're out in the water.
Okay.
So like, they can swim in the water.
I have elemental ammunition, so if you piss me off, then I'll shoot you with a fire pellet.
You're so annoying.
I know.
The funny thing is I can control water. And we're on a boat.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
get
say
it.
right now, when we get back, my character's gonna have a time, because we're on the boat and we're gonna play away, and I don't know. Oh,
When
Nathan!
you came to wayfaring school.
I wanna drink, I wanna drink the ale when we get back, because we're on a boat.
Can you like learn to swim over the time of this campaign?
I'll
Give me
teach
lessons.
I know, I'll teach her.
No! No, he's gonna shove me off the boat. I'll have the,
No, I have
Water
gust of
people.
wind. I can just like.
Sitting there. If you keep trying to fall off the boat, I'm gonna.
Do you have a gust
timer
also?
over
Sean
your
and I
foot
can
and
just
like
pick up
so
water
every time you
and drop it
show
off.
up, you just swing really far.
You're swimming now.
as long as I don't get wet, I'm like a cat, like I'm just gonna like hold on to the banister.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna murder you at some point.
Yeah, so I have a silver cat, Merlin, in real life.
So cute.
And such a cutie. He could come be our seal friend
Heck
at
yeah.
some point if we wanted that.
Watson could
Such a
be
good
a,
cat, dude.
Watson could be a, something that like attacks
choices at the worst times.
Only for you though.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
my pet sea urchin.
Exactly.
I get pet sea urchin that only hates you.
Watson is a hedgehog.
Yes, I have a pet hedgehog.
I thought you wanted
You should get them, they're great.
You didn't want to name it Sonic.
No, I'm a much bigger fan of Sherlock.
She actually has Sherlock paraphernalia. Right? Don't she?
I have the. I know, you said paraphernalia is never a good context word.
You have the same drugs that they used in the Sherlock Holmes.
No, but I have the complete works of Arthur Conan Doyle.
Oh, wow. I'm curious about that.
No, so I work at the Capitol, and so there's a senator named Kurt Watson. So whenever somebody at the Capitol finds out that I have a hedgehog named Watson, their first question is always, "Oh, the native is a senator?" No.
Paraphernalia. Miscellaneous articles, especially the equipment needed for a particular activity.
Yeah,
Just say accoutrement.
but it has a
Yeah,
negative
yeah.
connotation.
But that's not the definition, so
I-
I'm sorry
okay.
that your
No, but
connotation.
I actually disagree. I don't think like the word paraphernalia always has a negative connotation.
I've only heard it in negative ways.
Well, what circles have y'all been hanging out in, huh?
I told you a little bit about my background.
All these
Yeah,
nuts are
That's
drinking.
great. I listen to true crime podcasts. I'm writing a murder mystery.
Well, wait, but first, are these spicy?
A little. They got a little.
No,
bit
no, no,
Do you
no.
want to share one?
Annie, they are very spicy, but I would.
That doesn't answer anything.
You know what I was saying.
No, I didn't.
I knew what you were saying.
You know what I was
Well,
saying.
I didn't know what you were saying because we have blank ones in our room.
Yeah, but not.
Oh, really?
I can't read that. It's too far away.
Let's see.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I squint, then I figured it out. But when I glanced at it,
I spy green scissors.
I don't know if there's a
I don't.
other-
is that, am I supposed to say, oh, they're over here?
Yeah, everyone's supposed to look around.
I found them.
Where?
Hey, catch.
Are they in
Oh, yay! Thank you.
That's something Bubba would do. Oh, here they are, kids. Annie, so the peppers, they are spicy, but I would say that for the sake of experience, you should have one and have a cup of water nearby.
Milk. Have a cup of
No,
milk.
milk actually coaches lemon so in the hotness, water is better.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, I'm not my friend Amelia, who went to culinary school.
But I thought Mythbusters was like, yeah, milk is totally
As someone who is allergic to capsaicin and has had to chug half and half after I accidentally ate a pepper,
Oh my gosh.
Well, half and half.
dairy will cut it.
Yeah.
Sugar. If you really want the best effect, sugar.
I don't believe any of you.
Take a spoonful of sugar and then turn it upside down on your tongue, hold it there.
No, that just helps medicine go down.
Okay, Mary Poppins.
Well, fun fact, if you burn your tongue on a hot surface, you can put sugar to stop the burn. Like cold water on a, like, extremity. So, my God, that actually makes sense.
All right,
Wait.
eat, or try to find a way to bring it back over here if possible.
I wanted Hawaiian, but I ate the meat first, and now I'm not hungry, and I made this too skinny. I'm having a rough life.
Is this yours?
left is good. Yes.
Eat what you want, but
No, it's fine.
then you won't waste food.
I'll eat it later.
Okay.
She says that it's like this much.
Okay, wait, sorry. I think I'm this way. Plates can either go in the sink or just on the counter next to it, whatever you feel like.
Great.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it's her.
Wait, where are the cards? There we go.
Guys, look, a mermaid. Oh wait, it's just a piece of wood.
Oh, jeez.
This is good
Do you watch
and true,
Disenchantment
right?
on Netflix?
I have.
Have you seen the new season?
I've watched half of it.
Okay, it's my friend Sydney and I binged it over the weekend. But season 1 where there's the mermaid island and then the sea lion island. And the sea lions are the ones that sing.
Sea lions are just mermaid dogs.
I call them sea bumpers.
Awesome, thank you.
Do you need more?
Not for now.
I mean,
Thank you.
I thought you were supposed to be nice.
I'm nice to you. I'm not nice to anybody else.
so far.
I'm nice to you.
I'm just lawful good. I just want to be a good student.
I'm chaotic
like-
good, obviously, because I made a noose and.
Yeah. Well, you're also like we're sneaking, and I was like, oh, I'm lawful good anymore. I can't do stuff like that.
That's specifically why I didn't make my character
You're lawful good anymore.
Huh?
Your exact error was I'm lawful good anymore.
I'm not lawful.
No, I said I'm lawful good. I can't
Wait.
do stuff like that.
I'm
We
pretty
don't
sure.
have a KJ yet.
Okay, I guess
Right.
I heard you wrong then.
Oh, she was
Oh, I forgot I had
Where's my phone?
a bunch of battle tokens.
Okay.
I ate it.
So they're like different symbols and there's a whole bunch of
thanks.
battle
I didn't get
ones.
that.
Morning,
Status
about
symbols.
30 minutes from now, we're probably going to have a map out here. So be prepared to have to clear out all this stuff.
I'm ready to go.
Unless you guys, I don't know, outsmart everything I've got planned. Which
We might.
can always happen.
I don't know. I think
If we
most of
don't
us
kill
are
each
pretty
other
dumb.
first.
Let's just know I'm
this.
I'm
shoot
killing
stuff,
you.
so whatever you want.
Throw my way, bud.
All right.
I won't. Can I fight him?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
What's your alignment?
Chaotic good.
It's
Alright,
basically
so if
like
they were chaotic neutrals, then I would say yes, but she is good, so you gotta stay within line with your
Ah.
yeah, you can't.
I mean-
I'm chaotic neutral, so I.
I'm assuming this is like playfully you're trying to teach him a lesson, right?
Yeah. Like not actually fight him.
Oh, I mean,
Just like sneak up
If
behind
he's-
him and bash him over the head with
If
a
I'm
sword.
chaotic
just like a
good
little
and he
stabby
wants to fight, I'm
stabby.
gonna
It's a little
finish it.
sneaky
Oh
stab.
yeah, of course.
You can have like just like an unarmed fight where you're just punching each other.
Okay.
Unarmed strike's something that everyone can do. But anyway.
Cool.
Anyway, so
My wisdom is 6, so I'm not very wise.
could I get a reminder of everyone's position on the ship?
I am steering this bad boy.
Great.
I'm probably holding on to something because I don't like bows.
Yep.
Looking out.
Yep.
Rigor.
Yep.
I'm on the lower deck messing with the cannons.
Great.
I'm down below looking at ammo and stuff.
Cool.
I'm just clinging to the mast.
Great. Okay, cool. Let's do this thing. So
Everyone roll for initiative.
There's
the boat
Kraken.
attacks you. Yeah, a kraken reaches out. You're all gonna fight now. So, as you're sailing along, all of you see this glow behind the captain's eyes. And he stands at the top part of the raised section of the ship. This ship is maybe big enough to crew 40 people. I mean, it's not a big boat. The width, if you're walking across on this top deck where you would be steering the ship, is about 60 feet. And then it goes maybe 120 feet long. It's only got 2 masts, it's got the rudder in the back, but otherwise it's a pretty simple boat. All of you, yep.
Can I just? There is a sound. Oh, it's only a minute long. Okay. It's a sailing ship creaking with sea crashes sound.
Do it.
I thought it was like an infinite loop type.
I think very quickly that will not be relevant.
You gotta learn how to swim real quick.
So,
Time to drink.
all of you see this tattoo on his arm beginning to glow. And as all of you
No, two of us are under the deck.
I'm just saying you all saw it. It's
Okay.
gonna be
Before
it's
you went
gonna be
under.
anyways,
Okay.
yeah. And the captain stands and he looks at all of you and he says, Wait, you
What's up, Captain?
Shut up. You. All of you. Come here immediately. And he stands on the main deck, the lower deck, and orders all of you to show up.
I'm running
I'm
towards
sitting on the
you.
mast, still listening.
I'm running towards you, and I go stop, and I can't stop, and I fall.
He says,
take 1d5 damage.
he pulls all of you together. He says to you, let it ride for just a little bit. Come on down. Okay. And he's staring at all of you really, really intently.
I stare back.
I
And you're
can't
lawful good.
meet his gaze. It's like
Let's have everybody roll insight. This is a really high.
Challenge him.
This is a really high check, but maybe one person.
I didn't do well. I got a 4.
Okay.
Oh, 3.
Nat 20.
Yeah, mine's like a 7.
I got 7.
So Alric, you're standing there, and all 6 of you are standing around the captain as he stares at all of you, and you look in his eyes and you realize that he is going to try to provoke something out of all of you. But none of the rest of you know this. And he says, "Why are you here?
Well,
You! Why are you here? Why are you at my school?"
At the school? Well, I'm trying to learn more about the land dwellers.
There's more than that. There's more than that. Tell me more. You! Why are you at my school?
To serve my people.
You! Why are you at my school?
To become a pirate like my father.
Okay. You! Why are you at my school?
I want to see more of the ocean.
Oh, I need real answers. Why are you at my school?
Follow your order, sir.
He normally would be charmed by that, or at least entertained, but he is ignoring you completely instead.
Why are you at this school, Captain?
He didn't ask you.
No, that's okay, Gabriella. I'm here to make waves, crest waves, and break storms. And he steps back and he pulls out the same obsidian rock from before, a really flat surface, and he says, "Alric, step forward. Now I want all of you to pay attention to this. Do it again. Think about what your heart desires most." So he thinks. And what all of you notice is that, so what you notice, Alric, is that the vision in your mind of you overcoming your brother in, just in combat and impressing your father and earning his respect, it begins to drift from your mind and almost look as though it's dancing in the stars, like the constellations themselves are playing out your fantasy for you. And the rest of you notice that Alric's arm is glowing far brighter than it was yesterday. And you can see the insignia that was hidden underneath the tattoo as the glowing shape takes place, and you see a lion appearing underneath this tattoo in a silvery glow. Gotcha, right here. And so all of you see this, and he says, "Yes. Okay. You. I know what you want. But do you know what you want? Step forward and think. What is it your heart desires?" So what do you think about?
I think about how, as my father stopped coming home, he thought I was a disappointment because I wouldn't go on the water with him. So I want to be able to join him and make him proud.
So you were thinking this vision, and your father's ship, an iconic ship with sails that have a peculiar mast on it, because the insignia that rests on them is a chameleon coiled with multiple colors stringing out of it. And you see the ship sail out of your imagination and into the stars, and you see yourself standing on the deck with his arm around your side as the two of you prepare to adventure together. And as you're thinking this, you begin to notice that you start to feel lighter, and you look down.
Oh no.
And you notice that under your chin, right here on your throat, a glowing light begins to press through and take shape. And it is the shape of a chameleon on your neck. And so the rest of you see this glowing light. And he turns to the rest of you and he says, I knew it! All of you have it. You go next. What is it that you truly want most? And he's almost rushing you at this point. What do you think about?
I think about wanting to be a strong and great Duchess of Imani.
Okay, so you begin thinking about this vision of yourself connecting the different people, a diplomatic force that helps raise Imani to significance and relevance both between land dwellers and sea dwellers. And you notice that on the inside of your ankle, a light presses through your skin and you see a dove there. Like a glowing tattoo that's right there. And as you do that, he turns immediately, Bubba! Oh, I never thought it possible. Show me what you want most. What do you think about?
Most? At first I start thinking about food, and my stomach growls a little bit. And then...
So this vision of like a steak and some just mutton is floating off into the stars, and then it dissolves when you stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
So.
And then I start thinking about my family, and I remember when I was growing up and I was working and I was taking care of them and being a provider, and that's something, and that's what I start focusing on hard.
Got it. So you start thinking about this vision, it appears in your mind, and then the rest of you begin to notice that Bubba stands there, this tall, or sorry, not tall, this broad, strong, because you're a stout halfling, right?
Yes.
Yeah. This stout halfling, and you begin to see that in the center of your forehead, a light presses through, and you see the face, the head and the insignia of a fox on your head. And you see his captain looks at you and he goes, huh! I wasn't expecting that. But that's all right. That's all right. You, Shui, what is it that you want most?
To fulfill my destiny so I can go on and lead a normal life.
Okay, so you see this vision of yourself maintaining control of this spirit, this soul, this force that's inside of you, and leading and saving your people. This vision moves into the stars, and as you stand there, you begin to see in the palm of both of your hands that a light presses through, and you see serpents on either side that look exactly like that. As you're standing there, he then turns to Brian and he says, "Oh, don't do me dirty this time. I know it when I see it. There's a sixth mark on you. What is it you want most?"
I want to find where Hork comes from, a place where animals and us can live in harmony.
So you stand there and you see this vision of Hork reuniting with his family and you being able to converse freely with these brilliant and wonderful, majestic creatures. And as that vision casts, you begin to see that on the back of your hand, right here, on one side, a tattoo or this light appears, and you have the mark of a dolphin. So it's curled, it's got the fin and the tail, the dorsal fin and all that, and it is on your hand. And
Basic.
and it's got a dolphin. And so he looks at all of you and he says, "Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. Okay. Yes. This is how it must be. Okay." And he looks at all of you and he says,
seems that all of you have a gift. A wonderful gift. I do suppose that this is worth explaining, so I'll be sure to do that. You see, for those who live close enough to the center of the storm, there's a communion with the celestial gods, some of whom have decided to take their place in the stars and cast their light down on us mortal beings here in Valkyria. And every once in a while, they will give their personal mark to someone whom they believe will live a life worthy of their blessing. These marks have different meanings, but my hope is that we'll get to learn a little bit more about what each of you can achieve. And there's one more thing that I should mention. You see, one of the most important elements about these is that for each person that has this mark, you must watch out. There's only a matter of time, and you begin to hear a crash of lightning as it strikes about a mile away from where you are in the direction of the fog and the storms beyond. I want a perception check. Let's have one person do it. Let's have 2 people do it. We'll take the highest of those 2.
I'll do one with this.
Oh, wait. My perception is 0. So, 9.
16.
16? Brian, it's enough for you to notice that the fog, which has never moved in 60 years, has started accelerating in your direction. And you can feel that you have under 5 minutes until it gets to you with how fast it's moving.
Oh, no.
So he looks and he notices this as well, and he says, all right, looks like it's time for a pop quiz. Everyone, to your stations. We've got a storm to escape.
I need a drink.
So you're gonna drink your ale.
I'll drink
I'm
that.
gonna drink my ale.
Okay. So
And then I quip. Looks like we're all special now.
Ugh, shut up.
so you're gonna drink Amara's ale.
Yes.
And here's what it does for you. So this ale will give you advantage on fear, persuasion, intimidation, and deception checks.
Fear.
What is a fear check?
So everything.
Wait,
It's
fear,
like-
persuasion.
It's a wisdom
state of
wisdom
comfort.
saving throw. You would get advantage on wisdom saving throw specific to fear.
Fear, persuasion,
Deception and intimidation. Those are all the charisma checks.
and
Or charisma skills. Intimidation. It's like when you're just bluffing,
Yeah.
trying to scare someone. And you also have disadvantage on dexterity checks.
oh, great. I'm good at Dexter. No, I do.
She just drank some ale. Do you want to have some ale?
No, I'm okay.
He's an alcoholic. It won't affect him.
So, and what I will now have you do, Briella, is I'm going to need you to make a fear. It's basically a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Which, since it's fear, this is to avoid being feared. You have advantage due to your ale. This
Okay.
is for the ensuing storm.
Oh gosh.
Roll again. You have advantage.
Advantage means you get to roll twice and then take the higher.
Okay, well I rolled a 2, so I really hope. I got a 3.
So the rest of you watch as Briella, she just downs this ale, and she looks around, and she seems skittish, and looks at the water, and you are gripped with fear. Which means that if you were in combat, you would have to run away from the source of fear. But because this is the water, you will do everything it takes to avoid contact with it.
I tie myself to the mast.
Okay.
That's one way.
So you notice that Briella ties herself to the mast. I need the rest of you to go ahead and roll for initiative because
Bye,
we
guys.
are sailing.
Bye.
Oh no!
Oh yeah. 15.
6.
Nat 1.
Awesome. We get to use this. Super simple. I really like how it works.
Yay.
So you are all running away from the fog.
Redraw your
And these waters are not known for being easy. That's why the adventuring school exists. But as you each have your stations to man, I will be throwing challenges at you, and you will attempt to avoid these obstacles. Briella, you are going to sit and be scared.
Yep.
And Kirano, your role right now isn't very relevant to what's happening outside, nor is yours currently, Bubba. So you might be helping out with other things as they show up. For the rest of you, the fate of the ship
I got you.
rests in your hands.
Unless you want to use your.
I send Hork over to her as
Okay.
she's to provide some moral support as
Great.
she's shaking in her boots.
So what I'll do is I will actually allow you to re-roll that fear check
Here.
with advantage because Hork is calming you down.
Oh,
but you're gonna do it
Holiness.
you're gonna do it in about a minute, which will be several rounds of stuff.
Cool.
We'll see what happens. The fog progresses rapidly. The way that I'm just going to time how this works is you either must clear the obstacles that I give you, or if you fail, you just have to do them again. And for every round, not this round, but round of obstacles that occurs, the fog will get closer to you.
Okay.
And so I'm just gonna say that you only have 5 failures before the fog completely consumes you.
As a group?
Between all
5,
of us.
yeah, obstacle failures.
Good.
And this has to do with the coordination and success of the lookout, the rigging, and the steering wheel of the first mate. For you two, there might be other things that come up, but it kind of depends on what my encounter checks are. So, let's
So we are
do
trying
some
to get
shit.
away from the fog.
Do you want to go into the fog?
No, I don't. I'm not.
The fog that literally no one has returned from?
We're only at level 3.
Okay, so
You know, we were talking about the Kraken earlier.
okay, first encounter, and I did have you roll for initiative. It's probably actually not going to be relevant unless a few things happen. So I'll just keep this for here for now. And what was this number?
That is not in order. We
Oh,
have-
sorry.
we have 7 numbers.
So if you have 20 or higher, 15 to 20,
15.
15,
16.
15, 16.
Oh wait, no, sorry, 15 also. My bad. 15.
Okay, then who has the highest dex modifier?
Plus one.
I have
That's the second one.
plus 0.
Okay, then it's Brian before Alric. 10 to 15, 10 to 14,
I did 12.
12. Okay, lower than that.
I didn't roll.
I
Yeah.
have 6.
6.
Because I'm tied to the mast.
I'm a 1.
Great. Shui is just chilling.
Just hanging out.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna roll the first encounter check to see what happens. Your goal is to get away from the fog. Let's do this. Okay. Look out. Perception check. See if you can see whatever this is before it comes.
I'm tightening knots.
Awesome. I want perception check with disadvantage from you.
Okay. Perception?
Yes.
9.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, it's 6. It was upside.
That's fine. You all of you begin, you would have failed either way. So you begin turning the ship and immediately jutting away. And as the water begins to become more choppy and dark, it's harder to see through the surface. And none of you see it coming, but a rock strikes the side of your ship and it spins you off course as you have to readjust and move forward. You lose 1 round between you and the ship. Next obstacle.
Now I
Got it.
You want me to re-roll?
Not yet.
Fear? Okay.
Not yet. Shui, you begin looking as the winds start pushing against the masts, and you notice that there is a tension in one of the ropes holding the central mast that is beginning to wear and split. Go ahead and give me an athletics check to save it.
Oh no! I thought it was gonna be dexterity for
Not
me.
this time.
That was good.
15.
15? You see as Shui deftly jumps over, grabs it, and wraps it right back around so she doubles it down, keeping it in place. Your mast holds its stability and
It's
you
a
progress
75-year-old.
forward.
I'm an elf.
She's
I'm
not.
She's also not
an adult
75.
yet.
That was her old character. Her old character.
Wait,
No, I'm 75. Elves live to be like.
Oh,
700.
sorry. I was thinking
but you're
Betty
not
White.
like old anymore?
No.
Oh, I thought
That
she
would've
was
been, like,
still Milano's
400.
grandmother.
No.
500.
I'm a student like the rest of you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool. You make it through that round. Third one, then we're gonna have you roll for fear.
Will you stick that in there for me?
Awesome. Cool.
Plus whatever.
So
0.
we're back to rigging with Shui. You notice as the winds begin to whip in seemingly violently random directions that your central and secondary masts are losing their ability to hold a straight line for your ship. You must work together with one of the other 2 crew members. So you're going to call to one of them right now.
I don't remember either of your names. I'm sorry.
I'm Bubba.
You can call me Kira.
Kira.
Hi.
Hell. Actually, no. He's strong.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
fair.
strength check.
It's funny you say that. You've got several ropes in front of you, and you need to right the ship. I need both of you to make a raw intelligence check.
Yes, we failed.
17.
17? Okay. So Shui is able once again to right the main mast by using the correct combination of ropes and keeps the ship going straight. Bubba fiddles around with the wrong rope in the background and makes it worse. And so you spend more time trying to adjust the ship. You lose another round between you and the fog as it goes closer. There are
Guys,
3
get it
rounds
together down
separating
there.
you. I would like for you to do a fear check for me. So roll with advantage because Hork is just being a big friend.
Oh yeah.
A Bubba. Being a Bubba.
11.
It's not good enough.
Oh no.
So, Briella is still
I'm still
afraid, and you're just chilling time to the mast. Let's do the next one. Okay, got it. Bubba,
Yes, sir.
the ship rocks as a wave picks it up, and you begin to angle it. The ship angles to a severe angle, and you notice as one of the mounts that holds the cannons in place snaps, and the cannon begins to roll down the ship. Something that heavy, if it were to hit the other side, would crash through and fall into the ocean, or if it were to hit somebody else, would do a serious amount of damage.
Like
Give me
timed.
a strength check to athletics check to stop it. 11. It's not good enough. Bubba rushes up and tries to stop it, but your feet slide underneath you. You don't brace strongly enough, and it rolls through you. With an 11, I'll say it's enough to prevent the cannon from falling off the ship. It slides to their side. You buffer between you and the wall, and you're able to get to stop. But in the turmoil that is created, you lose a lot of the weight and the balance of your ship, and it loses some of your speed. You lose another round between you and the storm. Time for a few more. Oh, by the way, we're doing 8 of these, so we've done 4. You need to do 4 more.
At any of them?
You succeeded once.
Okay. We
Yeah.
succeeded at one.
Yeah, you succeeded on a athletics check. Yeah. So next, awesome. Number 1, look out. Give me that perception roll and see if you see what's coming.
There we go. 18.
Awesome. You look, and even as the storm is whipping around you, you see that a sandbar is poking up in the water.
Sandbar!
You need to make an immediate turn to the right.
15 degrees on the right.
Awesome. Now I need you to give me an athletics check because you are trying to get this to happen quickly.
Nat 20, boy!
So that was a great round. So you see as Brian's up there and he's like, Sandbar, turn to the right, and immediately, and the ship, as all of you are on board, and you begin moving on. Now, the storm.
Wait, is that a success?
That's a success.
You should tell us when that's a success.
That is a success.
Thank you.
You successfully navigate the sandbar region. At this point, the final 3 rounds, is that where we're at? Yes. The final 3 rounds, the storm is picking up even more. The waves are getting more and more dangerous. The storm is whipping more violently. Let's do some more encounter checks. Awesome. Look out. What do you see? All right, I need first mate. Roll with disadvantage.
Oh no.
Stuff in my eyes.
All that sea foam. All right. So you just need to get
You
what's
said disadvantage.
That's a disadvantage.
So you have to roll again.
Yeah, I'm saying you just need to get not a bad roll.
A crit success doesn't get you out of a disadvantage.
No, that's the point.
That sucks.
Well, think. So you got a 10
for
plus
perception?
his perception.
10.
Okay, so That sucks. That sucks. So you see that a cross, like a wave that's coming from a different direction you didn't expect, picks up the front right part of your ship and begins tipping as you've lost your ability to cut into the wave. And so I need everybody on ship to make a dexterity saving throw.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
Including you. Actually, not including you, because you're tied to the mast.
I'm gonna drown.
You might!
Tying yourself to the ship is usually not a good idea.
I didn't want to touch it.
14.
17.
18.
13.
Hold on. I get a D4. 3!
You get a 3?
Yes.
Oh no, y'all.
Why do you have a D4?
Because I am a water elf, and so I get a plus 1d4 for all dex saves and water and air vehicle checks.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what I should have done? I should have had. Well, I guess I've never done it yet, but I should have your steering the water vehicle checks. That makes more sense.
Okay.
From now on.
Yeah.
I did athletics last time and you killed it, but like from now on. Okay. So the waves pick. I need more music. Give me that. Nice. So the wave picks up, and the rest of you look up at the upper deck and are horrified when you see the wave crash over the side, sweeps Alric off his feet, and tosses him into the open ocean. So, Alric, you are out of commission, and one of you two can go and fill his position right now. Who does it?
Go do that.
Okay.
I would make my own choice and try to throw a rope to him.
We're going to give you that chance. So if, and actually we're going to do it now if you're not needed for the next encounter. Cool.
Okay.
So there are 2 more encounters.
Man overboard!
There are 2 more encounters before you, well, 2 more successes before you can escape. But we're going to see what happens. Awesome. Actually, it's 3 more successes because you failed that last one, obviously. Okay, cool. So, I need lookout.
For dice this time. There we go, 16.
That's good enough. You begin to notice that there is a towering wave that is creating essentially a valley, and that the only way for you to get out of that wave is to essentially ride it sideways. You need the ship to turn left immediately.
Hard to port.
Okay.
Awesome. So this one's especially difficult because in order for you to make a turn that sharp and pick up a tailwind, I need you to go ahead and do an intelligence check and fix the masts.
That screwed up the mast, so I'm out back.
And I need you to do a water vehicle ship check, which
that with?
it's just dexterity, but you don't have an advantage like he does, or you don't have the D4 or whatever.
Oh.
Nice.
What'd you get?
Plus dex.
10. Yeah, 20.
A 10.
Not good enough.
It actually is good enough because I needed both of you to get 10 or higher, which is harder than it sounds. So you call out this wave pattern, you are able to turn the ship in time, and you get the right combination of mass, and you cut through this valley as the massive wave crashes behind you. You have 2 successes left before you're out of harm's way. And I need you to go ahead and do a dexterity check. You are trying to throw a rope in the middle of a wild storm to somebody who's in the water. It's gotta be hard, but go ahead and try.
That failed. Wait, I'm lucky. I get to roll that one.
That's true. That's true. If that was a 20, I was just gonna be
15.
like, okay, it's not good enough. You notice as Bubba throws this rope out into the water, but by this point, with the wave that just fell, Alric's too far away to be able to quickly get a hand of it, and the boat continues moving.
I can swim at 30 feet.
Yeah, you can. The boat is moving much faster.
Good.
You can move at 1 knot, the boat's moving at like.
All right, you need 2 more successes to get out of the storm alive. Number 4. Yes, okay. So, oh wait, that was 3 more checks. I need you to do another fear check for me.
Here, toss that in different dice.
Ooh! You buffer and you realize that your friends need you. So you can use your turns when you're not helping save the ship to try to rescue Alric, or
Do I have to?
no,
Okay.
or to help them if there's a task that requires it, which actually happens to be this one.
Cool.
Kirano, you stand on the ship in front of the wheel, and you begin to notice as a support beam from one of the decks begins to fall, and it's crashing into the ship, causing basically a hole in the side of the ship to let in water. What I'm going to need is for anyone that is not occupied, which is you two,
We're not occupied.
to go ahead and let's do an athletics check to try to basically port it up. You're trying to remove the debris, make it easier to maneuver. Give it a shot.
How big is the hole?
Here.
I'll go first. 15.
Because like
Is it-
it's like
But I
a
have
Is it within?
No.
Is it a square foot?
-3.
no, it's
So
not.
I have a
I see.
12.
I see it.
She got a 12.
And what'd you get?
Oof, that's rough. I got a 9.
I needed a 15. So
Yeah.
no, you had advantage. You effectively had advantage. Still didn't get it though. As the water begins to let water soak in, you lose speed and you lose a round between you and the ship. Next one. Look out. What you got?
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Undo that. Sorry.
That was such a good roll.
I'm actually, I'm sorry. I'm gonna re-roll the encounter as well. As the water soaks into the ship and begins filling some of the quarters, I need everyone on this ship to make a dexterity saving throw.
There we go.
8. I got a 17.
16.
18.
Okay, anyone that got lower than a 14.
I got a 7.
While you're attempting to plug up the hole, you get swept off of it. And you are in the open waters.
I can't swim.
Yeah, we're gonna have you roll for Constitution in a second.
Wait, can I actually?
Oh no.
I have a cantrip that is shape water that I can like basically turn water into ice.
Yep.
Can I like do that where she is so she at least has like ice to hold?
Yeah. You can make ice underneath her if you want to do that.
Okay, yeah, I want to do that.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, please.
Awesome. So you've got this really cold block of ice in the middle of this wet storm that you now can float on as you're getting thrown around by the waves.
You know who's better than
I
drowning.
see this, and so I'm just in general going to start swimming in that direction.
No.
So the storm.
I can't swim.
Like trying to swim.
Oh man,
Kicking
it's
my
like Jack
legs.
and Rose. It's so sweet.
There's enough room on the thing for both of y'all, okay?
Yeah, how big is it? How big is your spell?
Not big enough
It's a,
to
it's a 5x5.
I'm pretty sure it's 5x5.
25 square
That's
feet.
pretty
There's
big.
Plenty of room.
How much water is in the boat right now?
Not a ton by this point. Let's just say 100 gallons.
I can also do that same
That's
cantrip.
not a lot.
Okay. I mean, a ship has a hole in it, so that's what it is. Okay, so next encounter, and
And I'm just chilling on the ice, trying not to drown.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so the water will be frozen for 1 hour.
Okay, so once again, you notice as the masts begin to crack, and the second mast, the smaller of the two masts, is beginning to buckle under its own weight. As it begins crashing into the deck, I need you to go to the main mast and go ahead and give me a dexterity check as you are attempting to right the main mast to account for this.
8
An 8.
is not good enough.
Your ship gets caught sideways as you spin and you lose track of yourself. I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, good.
Oh
There we go. That is a 21 with my modifiers.
I also need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Baba, how'd you do?
14.
14?
Annie, where's your recycling?
Brian, you're standing up on this lookout. Somehow, as the mast buckles, your lookout perch is still intact, your crow's nest. But you're horrified when you look down and you see as the winds whip and it sweeps Shui and Kirano off their feet and they tumble overboard off of the ship.
Lit. I'm back in the water, babes.
Oh yeah,
Alright,
that's
this is
fine.
fine.
So now, if there is an encounter check that requires the rigging, Bubba must do it. And if there's one that requires both the wheel and the rigging, you will automatically fail. Unless, I'll say that you can move over there. So you have 2 people left. So let's do this. You need 2 more successes to escape.
We're gonna play my puffers.
Have we not already failed more than 5 times?
So you, oh shoot.
That might have been the 6th.
Yeah.
Is the dex thing a fail?
Yeah. No. It's the main thing. It was the mask thing.
Breaking master.
It probably was.
Yeah.
I was too busy tracking your
I know.
successes. I
It was
forgot to track your
definitely
failures.
5. Yeah,
It
because I
might
have
have been
5.
6.
Got it. Okay, cool. So underneath all the pressure of the waters, the winds, the waves, and the ship falling apart before your eyes, Captain Maverick, who has done
Absolutely
nothing.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was here.
Mhm, you did forget he was here.
Screw that.
He says, "Well, it has been a good journey with all of you. I'll see you on the other side." And he jumps off of the ship, and the fog consumes all of you.
And we're all dead. Make
We're
new
dead. We
characters.
should have just sailed into the fog. At least we would have had a ship going into it.
This is the status of all of you. What I'm going to need is for everyone to make 3 Constitution checks, and I'll tell you what happens once you roll them. Just remember the number you roll.
Wait, saving throws?
No,
20.
actually, yes, I am going to say saving
Okay.
throws.
How do I know what saving throws I get?
For you, nothing.
How do you
Are you not proficient in any saving throws?
You should be.
I don't
They're
know.
determined by your character.
Are they determined by
Yours is
race?
probably wisdom and dexterity as a monk. I can tell
That
you in a
sounds right.
second.
That sounds right.
Let's see.
I'm probably dead.
Oh, I'm proficient in Constitution. Yes.
Crap.
Monk is strength and dexterity.
Strength and dexterity. There you go. Oh, which, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And so so each of these is this
One's
modifier,
that,
and then the 2 that I filled in are plus
Probably
proficiency.
dead. It's fine. I'll start making a new character.
So, as all of you drift around in the waters, attempting. Oh, you roll none because you're on ice.
Oh,
so ignore
cool.
that. So as you're drifting through the waters and attempting to find your way back, this represents your ability to basically tread water and find enough debris to get yourself something to rest
I can
on.
actually breathe the water.
I can also
Yeah.
Right.
breathe water.
I'm on the ship still. I'm fine for now.
Right. I'm forgetting something about this that I was supposed to do, but I'm too lazy to go back for it, and you've had a rough time as it is. So what did you roll?
I rolled a 13, a 2, and an 18.
Okay. I'm just gonna say, mostly so we can move on, that you're going to be fine because another one of these swimmers and underwater breathers finds you and saves you. So,
I hope so. I have a 150-pound cannon strapped to my arm.
Oh yeah.
you get to swim around with this cannon right there. So all of you eventually surface in the wreckage of your ship, and you,
Is there still a storm, or is it quiet in the fog?
it is. You are in what is complete darkness. Complete darkness.
Yeah.
Pitch black.
So I don't see it as dim light. Since I have,
Not
Dark
this.
vision does not.
This fog
Dang it.
is denser and more.
but this,
It's fully obscured.
but
is what
this
it is.
says all darkness as if it were dim light within 60 feet.
Right.
Yeah.
This is like a spell. Yeah. It's a magical
Okay.
darkness.
I'll accept.
I know that
I
sounds.
will
I know that
accept
sounds whatever. But this fog is literally from a goddess and will absolutely block vision. So,
Why is she mad at us?
and it's not actual darkness. It's that the fog is so dense you can't see.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. So you can't see much further than about an arm's length in front of you, and then it's just gray, dark mist and fog. As all of you are crying out for each other, swimming around and trying to find the main hull of the ship. Let me do this.
Are we all still glowing?
Yes,
Oh.
you actually absolutely are, and actually that's actually what I was going to use. I want to see. Let's do everyone make a perception check.
Aw.
And if you got higher than if you got a 16 or higher, let me know. Cool. Wow. All right. Perception, huh? The three of you, Bubba, Shui, and Kirino, you find each other in the mist
Hey, God, we all knew
as your
today.
glowing signs help to pierce through the darkness in a way that you would not have expected any other light to.
Nice.
It's right here.
Thanks, man.
You basic.
So
prison tat.
now I need the three of you who are together to make a perception check for the others.
Please find us. I got a 19.
Wow.
14.
I gotta add my proficiency.
Finding music for this is so much easier than other ones.
A little easier. I do want longer versions
I
of
got
facts,
21.
but I
I
prioritize.
got 21.
21? Okay, cool. So that means
I want Bubba to find me.
and cool. Bubba, you
Yes, sir.
find her, Briella, on her block of ice.
Ooh, that's cold. I'll stay over here.
And who got the other good roll?
Oh, I did a 19.
Yeah, okay, you find Alric.
Hello.
Awesome. So the five of you are all together, and you
you.
found a larger piece of driftwood from the original ship. And I need all of you to roll perception to see if you can find your last friend who's floating in the water.
Nat 20.
Go ahead and roll as well.
11.
I got a 1.
Okay.
21. Yeah.
So
You're so
you.
frozen that you just.
I got a 1.
So Shui, you do see him coming, but you're able to find the rest of the group because their collective glow.
I wave at him with my glowing hand.
So
I wave back with my glowy hand.
it's just- so the six of you find each other, and then you do
And
find what's up?
In Hork.
And Hork, of course. Well, Hork's fine.
He can swim.
Hork's fine.
Magical.
He's happy to be in the water.
So all of you meet up together, and you see the main ship, the SS Marigold, that has basically been. It looks like it's been snapped. Like after you fell off of it or failed, it basically broke. But
Like the Titanic.
like
In half.
yeah, basically. Well, except the Titanic also exploded, according to the award-winning documentary "The Titanic" or Titanic by James Cameron. So no, I'm just kidding. But so all of you are together on the ship, and your tattoos are glowing more brightly than ever. The combined glow is almost overwhelming, and then it suddenly stops as the six of you are together.
Are we all like on my ice block, or are we
We're
all
on driftwood.
on the driftwood? Okay.
I'm looking, yelling for Maverick, obviously upset that he's not there because I witness him jumping off because I was already in the water.
Yes. I'm actually going to retcon one small thing. Some of you are still on the ship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so so the ship did not crash. You were simply consumed by the fog in it. And so I'm rewriting this to where you eventually find everyone and get them back on boat. So there's still a hole in it, and it's still filling up with water. And the mast has fallen and broken, and the cannon got detached and flew to the other side. But yes,
Since I'm good at engineering mechanics, can I fix the hole?
let's give it a shot. Give me raw dexterity with advantage. Go ahead.
Can I help him?
Yes.
Can I fix 1 square foot of the hole?
Normally I don't do double advantage, but I'll let you roll once to help him.
Alright. Raw dexterity?
Yeah, it's raw dexterity, but it's yeah.
Oh shoot.
Good.
You try your darn dear best, but the hole's just too big and the water moves too fast. The ship doesn't look like it'll last that much longer. And you are all on it in this dense fog. You came together, and your tattoos stopped glowing, putting you all in complete darkness.
Solid.
Awesome.
Someone forgot to pay.
All you hear
Ugh.
is the occasional wind off in the distance, because like the eye of a storm, the fog is around you, but you don't experience the waves, the rain, the stormy weather, or the lightning. You are simply at peace.
I would like
Is
to, if
I mean-
I may, I have elemental attunement as a cantrip.
Okay.
So I just want to pick up like a piece of wood and just like some fire on it.
You want to make a flame?
Yeah, I just want to make it a small torch.
Absolutely, yeah, you
Just
can
so
do
we can like kind of see.
Do we not have
Are
torches
there-
in our packs?
Packs are soaking wet.
Yeah.
Everything's
Torches.
wet.
Do we?
If you want to go and look around the ship and see what's left, you do have an inventory that that
Oh, yeah.
Kirino would be aware of,
I know about the inventory.
and you
What's
can
in
see
it,
what's in
Kira?
there. So
yeah, Kira, do we have?
there are absolutely torches on the ship.
Yeah, we got some.
They're down in the main quarters in a storage unit. What's
Do
up?
we have a lifeboat?
I asked Kira if we have a lifeboat.
You have to go over and check. It might have fallen off.
Can I use my shape
Little
water to keep
orange
water out of the hole?
lifeboat.
Yeah. What's the language of that?
Well, it's a 5-foot cube.
But like you can move it
Yeah.
somewhere else, or you can just shape it.
Oh,
into...
here, wait. I just.
I can pull it up. I can pull it up.
No, I can pull it up.
Computer's faster.
Oh yeah, I got rid of it.
You instantly change the flow of water,
Yeah. So
but it's instantaneous.
what's duration?
Because the freezing mechanic lasts for an hour, I'll say yes. You can redirect the water flow of that size of a hole for an hour.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna do
Spares
that?
an hour, yeah.
Awesome. It's actually pretty big. So you now have some time to look around and see what's on the ship. But otherwise, aside from your tiny flame and the fact that the fact that your hands have stopped glowing means you can't really see almost anywhere.
Can I rally them with my ship song?
Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I don't know. I'm not gonna sing, but I have the ability to rally and inspire my crew with the song of a ship. So I sing. I don't know. It didn't tell me I had to roll for that when I was reading about it.
You don't.
No.
I would just sing it.
Yeah, but what do you sing?
I'm not gonna.
What do you sing about?
I sing about.
And it could literally be anything. If you want to sing Katy Perry, you could.
Well, I was gonna say I sing about light, and I sing about clear skies, and
Yep. The girl that tied herself to a mast is gonna sing to us.
I rally everybody except him.
Yeah. So what does that do? Bardic inspiration die?
Yes.
Cool.
So everybody gets another D6.
Yep. Awesome. You've got that.
Cool.
So what-
The rest of you feel.
That means next saving throw or check. When you roll, you can also roll another D6 and add that to your
Yeah. If you're using it for an attack, you have to declare it before I tell you whether it's or not. But other than that, you just use it whenever you want. So the rest of you, except for Alric, feel
Except for Elric.
noticeably inspired by this. That even in the middle of this pretty bleak situation, that Briella is able to keep a pretty strong
I
face
start
on.
square dancing.
Okay,
I
I'll
allow
start
it.
square dance.
Wait, do we only get one of those 1d6s?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of you are now sitting there on the ship. As you're singing, Briella, your tattoo begins to glow again. And so you notice that your insignia, this chameleon, begins to reappear on your neck.
I'm glowing.
I can
Perception.
use.
Can I make a perception to see if I see her glowing?
You do see it.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I'm
Look how
making
close he is.
Yeah, I'm making the glowing obvious enough.
Nice.
I can use my
You're
druid.
wrong again.
I can use my
Aw,
druid
man.
craft to instantly light or snuff out a candle, torch, or small campfire.
Okay, good.
So can I find some like driftwood or something and
To snuff it out?
no to light it?
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's plenty of driftwood. You find
So,
some.
so now I have a torch.
Great. Torch.
I want to go look for a lifeboat.
Okay. So you know that there's only one lifeboat, and it's on the right side of the ship. You walk over to look there. It is definitely detached. It is not there.
Darn. Well, that's quite unfortunate.
Well, can I work on fixing the mast?
You can do that. Yes.
Cool.
I will assist her because I have big muscles.
We should probably patch the hole in the side of the
How
boat
big
too.
is the mast? Is
Uh,
it 1 square foot?
The mast is 40 feet tall.
Wait,
and
yeah.
No, but
How
the
big
part
is
that
this
broke.
hole?
Oh, the part that broke?
How big is the diameter?
This big.
It's like 2 feet.
You can try.
I can still try and fix it.
Yeah,
I
so-
just can't
You
magic
get a
it.
D6 because you're inspired.
I just can't magic it. I don't think I fix it.
What'd you get?
Oh, fine.
Yeah, don't use that inspiration. So you are not able to reform the mast.
My turn. Give me that sucker. And I'm gonna try and lift this 40-foot mast and stick it back into the broken part.
Okay, how about this? If you do that, you can try again with advantage because he's helping leverage your fix
Cool.
attempt.
Crap.
What'd you get?
I rolled a 3, but
Oh.
I mean,
3 on strength.
I rolled a 6 total.
Cool.
13.
Okay, step aside. I'm gonna try.
You're all
He's
good.
not inspired. You don't get inspiration.
This is strength.
Yes.
Yeah, it's raw strength.
You thought your muscles were bigger than mine, boy?
Both of you cannot hold that mask longer than a second.
I get a splinter and
Yeah.
just like drop it.
Yeah, there you go. This is good.
Underfoot.
So, cool.
So,
The 6 of you get back together in the center,
am I
and-
still glowing?
and you realize that Briella is still glowing, which is interesting. And the closer that each of you get to it, the more you feel a sense of power emanating from her and from yourselves.
What if we all try and make our tattoo things glow more?
And how do
I
you
can't sing.
suspect we try that, Duchess?
Well, for one thing, I'm not a duchess yet, but it seemed like the captain had us think about things that we really desired.
I hold on to Hork. Squeeze.
Aw, Hork.
Right now,
Your
all I
tattoo begins to
desire
glow.
is a hot
Alright.
meal and some dry clothes.
Well, you're obviously not.
Your
gonna
tattoo
glow.
does not glow.
Do you
I-
want to survive this?
I start thinking about my family and like
I'm out here.
fulfilling my duty as
Okay.
a duchess.
So, and I should point out for those of you who are now glowing, it's not just that your tattoo glows, something really peculiar happens. Briella, you first. You look up and you actually see that while the fog around you is denser than you can possibly imagine, it's almost as if the top of the fog opens up slightly. And you see through this fixed lens on your position that there's a constellation in the sky that begins to twinkle extra bright.
Does it look like a chameleon?
And yours looks exactly like a chameleon.
Ooh.
And you, Brian, and you, Kirino, see this for your own signs as well.
I'm gonna meditate on doing my duty and saving my people. Which, by the way, I haven't told anything about the prophecy. That's something I can keep for myself.
Sure.
I noticed this happening, and in the privacy of my own little fogness, I also start doing the same.
Yeah,
Oh, and I'm sitting like in a monk meditating position.
got it. So I'm gonna just say that all of you do this. You begin glowing. You see the skies open for you individually. You see your own signs in the stars, these constellations that shine brightly and fall down on you. And then you start to feel like you're being pulled closer to one another, like a magnetic force is in between all of you.
I'm not about
I reach out to
those
hold
guys.
people's hands.
I don't touch.
Y'all hold hands.
I'll hold your hand, Bubba.
I'm okay.
Okay, so you two hold hands.
I don't touch people.
I'm holding on to Hork
My
still.
glowy things are on my hands. I feel like I shouldn't douse them.
Yeah.
Douse the glow.
I was a barkeep. I don't touch people.
Okay.
Seen too many people throwing up in bathrooms.
So, as the 6 of you get closer together, you begin to feel the power pulsing through your bodies, like it's in your blood. And then eventually you see a glow of light begin to pierce and push through this ring that you've all made into the middle. And eventually, an orb of light does something that light should never do, and it glows, grows, and pushes the fog away. Like as you would expect, like darkness to be pushed away from light. And all of you are standing there around it, and you look up and the entire opening in the sky opens for all of you.
Nice.
And you see a ring of 6 constellations.
Did they move when we moved?
Are we gods?
Peek behind the screen, they actually did.
Oh man, that's cool.
Doesn't spoil anything to say that. And I am going to tell you the names of the constellations that you are observing right now.
Seems note takeable.
No, do that.
Shui,
Do
go.
I actually already know my deity's name, the patron god person?
Yep,
Cool.
Deep Seychelles.
Cool.
Shui, you look up and you see Serpentis. Pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Alric, you see Leonis. Kirino, you see it's pronounced Columbe, B-A-E at the end.
Wait, how do you spell that? What's the first?
C-O-L-U-M-B-A-E, Columbe.
You could Columbus, but instead of bus, it's Bay.
Bubba,
Yes,
you look
sir.
up and you see the constellation Vulpeculae, V-U-L-P-E-C-U-L-A-E.
Appreciating the Latin roots in this fictional world.
Briella,
Can you spell that one more time?
sure.
Before you move on?
It's V-U-L-P-E-C-U-L-A-E. Briella, you were looking at the constellation, it's not going to surprise you, Camille Leontis. So it's chameleon, C-H-A-M-A-E-L-E-O-N-T-I-S. And Brian, you see Delphini in the sky, which is a dolphin. And so as all of you see a sea serpent, a lion, I never told you what yours means, Akira, no. Yours is the only one that isn't obvious. Yours was a dove. Duh.
Yeah.
A fox, chameleon, and dolphin arranged in the sky. You begin to notice as each of you starts glowing with a different color. A prismatic light falls from the sky in these stars at an angle that no one else would be able to see because of the existence of, Umbrella?
Umberly.
Thank you, goodness gracious. Umberly's fog, the death fog. But all of you see these constellations in the sky, and as the light pulls down and then spreads out into each of you, your tattoos change from the light silvery color that they were into these colors. Shui, yours is that of a teal or a light blue. Alric, yours is that of an orange hue. Kirino, yours is of a lavender or a light purple. Bubba, you get a golden color. Briella, you get a the color. There's 2 different words I could pick. I'm gonna say like a wine red.
Yeah. That.
And Brian, you get a deep blue.
Do the other people around us see the colors that we're getting?
Yes, you see them on everyone else
I
right
can't
now.
really see my tattoo.
Yeah.
So I trust other people to tell me what it looks like, because I can't see it.
It's fair.
I'm the only one.
You see the
Can't
light.
see yours either. We can't see yours.
So this all happens, and as you're watching as this light seemingly enters each of your bodies, you begin to feel something very special, like an untapped power within each of you. And that will happen after this. And so what then happens is you notice as the lights begin to fade and sort of it pulls backwards and up. You still have the glow in your particular tattoo, but there isn't the light in front of you. And only one color seems to remain among all of them. And it is the orangish hue of Alric's tattoo.
Of course it is.
And as you stand there, you notice, as all of you look up, that all the other colors go up into the sky, and those constellations, they almost fade into the background behind the black starry night. And in its place is a lion, Leonis, an orangish hue cast over all of you. As you look at Alric, who stands there in front of you, and Alric, you hear a voice in your head.
I was going crazy.
You hear this. My champion, you've been blessed with the mark of strength. Choose to use this wisely, and we may meet again very soon. And in its wake, you see, as descending from heaven, a large 25-foot, sorry, that's the wrong word. It's a 2.5-foot diameter, like rock sphere, falls and crashes into the deck from heaven and shatters through the floorboards in front of you.
Great, now we're cursed.
And in
Now
it,
we have another hole in the ship.
yep, went right through the top, but not the bottom, fortunately.
Okay.
You go down, and when you pull it out, it is a perfectly spherical rock-like structure, and it has the statement that you just heard written on it, and the insignia of Leonis on it.
Cool.
And all of you stand there, and your light glows brightly when you look at it.
What? Cool, you get to lug around a rock for the rest of the campaign.
Please make him do it. So funny.
You feel yourself pulled to investigate it further. What do you do?
I investigate it further.
Okay, how are you going to do that?
So I'm going to pick it up, look at it, and if there's
Don't
nothing
drop it.
that is obvious, then I'm gonna like feel it to
Okay.
see if there's any roughness, change in surface.
Sure.
anything.
Give me an investigate check.
Like a snitch.
Investigation. 11.
Yeah. It feels a little lighter than it should be.
But it put a hole in our boat.
Like you'd expect a ball this big that is made of solid rock to be a little heavier than it is.
Okay. So I uncharacteristically turn to everybody else and I'm like, ask for help, essentially.
Okay.
Like, you guys have.
What are you gonna do? You're a group. What are you gonna do?
You should
I
break
could
it
take
open.
my
What
trident.
if we put it in the middle
stab
where
it?
the light was, and we all stand around it?
Sing Kumbaya.
Can I
Yeah.
investigate it
Maybe
first?
we'll be magic.
I mean, is anyone else investigating as well?
I
could.
wanna investigate it also.
Wait, so did he not
Yeah.
find any
Wait, I'm gonna touch it.
seams or anything?
We'll do an order. So why don't you
Seams
roll
or
investigate?
cracks?
Oh, it's upon inspection, it's perfectly spherical.
Let's break it.
Is it big enough so I can hold it in one hand, or is it
What'd you
like?
roll?
No, it's real heavy,
Okay.
but it's just
Okay.
lighter than
2.5
you'd think.
feet.
You rolled a 2.
Hold on.
You all too?
Hold on. Investigation.
That's an
I'm gonna add
intelligence
everything,
base.
See how bad it is.
What language is the thing that I heard written?
I rolled a -1.
Oh, so that's the interesting thing. It's celestial, which you don't speak, but you can read this statement, which is weird to you.
Can't I?
No.
Dang it.
You speak Auckland, not.
But I have comprehend language.
You can cast that, but you have to roll for it as well.
Yeah. So what was that?
I rolled a -1.
Cool. You look at this, and you are quite positive that that is an egg with a creature inside of it.
We gotta find his mama, boy.
Yeah. What's up?
Reasonable.
I would like to try and cast.
Well, wait. First, look at it and see if there's.
He
any-
said there's celestial writing on it.
But it's the writing that I already know, which
I'm gonna say
assuming
Alric. I'm gonna say Alric tells you what it
There's
is.
Yeah,
no
I'm
other
assuming
writing
that
on
I've
it.
told you.
Oh,
Just
okay.
the image of Leonis on it.
Yeah.
Oh, boo. Okay.
Hmm.
I wanna wait. I'm not very strong. Never mind.
I think we
I was
should
gonna
break
Does
it
someone
open.
want to do an
Yeah.
Arcana check?
I agree with
If
that.
we're gonna break it open, I want to cook what's inside of it.
Yeah, I'll do Arcana. I'm smart.
I've always wanted.
You want
taste
to
the
do an Arcana check on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's intelligence. I'm smart.
So you have to roll for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to use that.
I
Well,
want
she's got
to.
an Arcana.
No, I don't. I didn't do very well. I got a 3.
Cool.
I'm dug into this thing.
To your knowledge, it's a rock.
Thanks.
At least it wasn't as bad as mine. I literally rolled
You
negative.
think it's an
Well,
egg?
how come you guys figured out it was an egg, but I had to figure out it was a rock?
So I'm gonna like knock on it because if you say it feels lighter, so I'm gonna knock on it and
Yep.
see if it sounds hollow.
Okay. Sure. I'm just gonna tell you, it does feel hollow.
Okay.
Just gotta tell you.
I could
break it.
I could
Break
create water inside of it and build up the pressure until.
Hork, did you like an
Then
egg,
you would
boy?
drown what's inside of it, assuming it's of a lion or feline form.
I don't know.
All right. What are you gonna do?
Throwing out ideas. I'm not very smart.
No,
I
brother,
am.
that's Hork's egg.
Let Hork sniff. Let's see if Horn can figure out what it is.
Does anybody have a way, like X-ray vision or something, or detection to see
Yeah, let
without
me just-
breaking it open?
I am
Pull out
level
my
3 weakling, bud. I can't do nothing.
Let me just take off my Clark Kent glasses.
I can shoot
So
it
Alric,
with
you
my
remember
gun.
this vision and the statement on the rock that says that you've been blessed with the gift of strength, that you might use it for great deeds until I
Oh
meet
yeah.
you again.
Break
Squeeze it.
Squeeze it. It's
Squeeze
the obsidian rock.
Squeeze the rock.
Or we can
Oh.
shoot it.
It's the
with a
obsidian.
gun.
Can we help
So
him? Can
okay,
we
so
motivate
wait,
cheer?
what's it?
It's the
So
obsidian thing.
Brielle reminds me of the obsidian incident,
Uh-huh.
and
You
so
go
then I
with
decide
it.
to try to crush it
You're trying to crush it in your
with
hands?
my hands.
Roll an insane athletics check.
Wait, what's your?
5.
Do you have?
You only show you how it's done, boy. Give me that.
You start pushing and it slips out of your hands
Can I catch
and you
it?
drop
Can I catch it?
Do you
Oh.
want to try?
Yeah, I want to try.
Roll strength.
Oh wow.
All right. I got a 1.
Cool. It slips through your hands and lands on your foot. As you walk
It wasn't an one.
It wasn't an out one. That's why I'm not giving you damage. Okay.
So I go
Pick
pick
it
it up. We're like, thanks for the help. Any other
At
ideas?
least I didn't drop it.
You want me to show you how to
Wait, were
squeeze
we
that thing,
cheering for
boy?
him? Does he get advantage?
Let's shoot it.
Yeah.
I was cheering for him.
I have a crossbow.
I want to stab it. I want to
Can I
stab it with my trident.
I'm only gonna react to what you do, not what you tell me you're gonna do, because
Can I squeeze
I was
it too?
cheering.
Kira should stab it.
Okay, wait, yeah. I'm gonna use shape water and I'm gonna form like a little pedestal so that it doesn't roll away.
Okay.
And then I want to stab it with my trident.
Okay, so you do that?
Yes.
Roll an attack with
I
your
will
trident.
let her do that.
Rolling it.
Because I don't know what I'm
You're gonna attack a rock.
18.
Cool. You guys watch as Kirino
Wait, that was 2 hit, okay?
to hit, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
As she suspends it in place, and then she takes her trident and she pulls back and she thrusts it, and an orange burst spits from the rock and shoots you backwards, and you
Ow.
take 5 damage.
And the rock is unharmed. I guess.
Absolutely unharmed.
Cool.
Wait, but is there a crack where that light came out?
Nope.
Oh.
So, okay,
I'm
so.
offended.
I'm telling you, boy, I can squeeze that thing real hard.
Can I give him my crossbow and let him shoot it?
I have a cannon. Why do I need your
Okay,
crossbow?
okay.
That
I'm
was
gonna.
right.
Okay. I have a scimitar.
Okay.
I don't want to break my scimitar. Okay, fine. We're
It
doing
didn't
it.
break
We're,
her
we're doing it.
trident.
We're doing it.
You
I'm
do it?
putting it on the pedestal, and then I'm gonna take my scimitar and.
In one-handing it, two-handing it.
Scimitars are one-handed weapons.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just try to watermelon in half.
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna say. This is a rock.
Not a watermelon today.
I
it
remember
has.
that this is a rock, and so I decide to not do that.
No. I'm actually saying this is a rock, so I'm going to tell you what's going to happen now. This is a rock with an AC of 22, and it's got 10 hit points. So all you have to do is hit it, and your sword can take, let's say, 5 bad swings.
Okay.
So your job is to break it.
Oof.
You watch as he ting, and it's straight, it comes right back off. And you see as the orange's glow begins to build on the outside of the sphere.
For your pistols, pistols are dex weapons, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
why
So
is
you
he
take
doing
He's using a scimitar though.
His scimitar. So he should have.
but he doesn't have either of them. Either of his
Yeah.
attack bonuses.
Oh.
Scimitars are also dex weapons.
It still wouldn't have hit.
What about your
Just-
pistols?
Plus your proficiency, so it should be like +3, +4.
Oh, I should.
That's what I always get. I've got something. So it's still
They're both +4.
both of 4. Okay, so it still wouldn't work. Okay, so
You want me to show you how it's done, boy?
And I pull out my cannon. You gotta rest them.
okay, so since I'm tired of Bubba talking, I'm like, sure, give it a shot.
Okay. You say so, buddy.
Bad feeling.
Listen,
I'm going to use
totally-
explosive canister on this as well.
You're gonna put an explosive canister on
I'm
this?
going to expend one of my 3 explosive canisters.
I'm gonna get it as far away from this nonsense as possible.
If you put me in the water.
Okay, hold on. Are you attacking with it?
I'm gonna like shoot it out of my.
Oh, you're using one of your special ammos. Okay,
I'm
got
about
it.
to dive in the water and swim away and
So,
let y'all deal with this.
Peek behind the DM screen.
obviously this is supposed to be a strength challenge for the strength guy, but this is so good that I'm gonna give him advantage on his attack after you roll. So go ahead and do it. Don't miss.
Please don't miss.
Blow a hole in the side of the sheet.
Okay, that's enough.
15 plus 7.
It's definitely enough to. I mean, like the AC to hit it with an explosive is
Because
lower.
I'm not only proficient in it, but it's a strength weapon. I have +3 to my strength.
Awesome. So you watch as Coriatus just like boom and explodes right in front of it. The sphere is still intact, but you notice that the orange glow continues to intensify as though it's reacting to something that's
Are we
happening.
all okay after that?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
Okay, so then I
I
go.
was 22 to hit, by the way.
You actually, I mean, like, yeah. No,
So,
we gotta have it.
so after seeing this and kind of putting two and two together, I go over and realize that, and then I
You
realize
could
that
use some inspiration if you wanted to, like, kind of.
I realized that Brielle
give
maybe
it to
wasn't
it.
as dumb as I thought, and so I'm gonna go and try
Well,
to
he has
like
advantage right
smash
now.
it with myself.
Does
Sure.
he have an advantage right now?
Yes, you have
Sure.
advantage right now because
Okay.
the DM say so.
Yeah, you advantage because of Bubba's explosive
But if you
canister.
need it, I'll give you my inspiration.
Yeah, some inspiration.
Roll again.
Bruh.
Again.
Bruh.
He needs it.
Bruh.
Gosh.
I inspire him.
That's a second clang.
No, I did this with my hands. I said I did it with my
Oh,
hands.
okay. Well, then it's even higher than
Yeah, for the
that.
next one is
Yeah. So it.
Oh, because unarmed strike is like +1 or plus
Yeah.
your strength or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you're standing there.
Yeah. So I've been
Rock's there.
swimming, so I'm still tired.
That's what they all say.
I'm just tired.
Okay, you know what? Okay, can I? So we can see now. I guess let me do this. Can I scour the boat for weapons like a hammer or
You
something like
find
that?
a hammer. It is +4 to hit.
You're just getting enough stuff now. I'm
This
just like,
is going so poorly. I'm
The
so
goal was
glad
just
we
for you to
didn't
get it
start-
eventually.
I inspire him.
I'm so
Okay.
glad we didn't start.
So
at
that's
level
15.
Don't use the inspiration because it's not enough. You might as well keep going. You swing in the hammer playing some. Every time he strikes, you do notice that as Elric gets more and more tired, his tattoo begins to fade, but the orange glow around it begins to intensify. It becomes stronger and stronger.
+4, so 17.
I mean, you could roll this time, but you need a 22, so you need to get a 5 or a 6 on that die.
Is it a D6?
Yeah, it's a D6.
The hammer's
inspiration.
+4. Yeah, so it's gonna be more than +4 because it's +4
Plus your strength modifier.
plus your proficiency.
Oh, I haven't been paying attention to what you've been adding to it.
So your strength modifier is +0. Plus
No,
proficiency.
his strength is
That's
Strength is
+1.
+1.
Okay, +1, so it's +3, so it's +7. What do you
+7, so that's 20.
That makes way more sense.
Okay,
22 wasn't
that's
supposed to be impossible.
We could roll. And
I'm not used to having to do these numbers.
That's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
So,
so he's at 20.
you needed 2 of inspiration.
I got
Oh, so
God.
you finally work up this strength, and this is what the rest of you see. You see as Alric is struggling, probably making excuses. I'm tired, but he's losing energy, and he finds his hammer and he takes it and strikes it over the top of this sphere, and instantly 3 things happen at once. There's an explosion of orange light which shoots straight up to the sky through the hole in the fog around you. The tattoo on your chest begins to...
On his arm.
Yeah, on your arm begins to glow intensely. And then,
Does it
out of
hurt?
nowhere,
hope
you
not.
see that a part of the sky itself begins to fall. As the Leonis, the Leonis constellation comes closer and closer to Earth, and you watch as the arm of the lion cuts through the fog in front of you and separates it. And you can see, in one direction, an island in front of you, in the middle of the fog, lit by the light of Leonis's orange glow. And it's about 2 miles away for any of you who want to go there.
You said that this path of the fog is in one direction. Let's go that way.
Well, I think our decision is pretty clear.
Okay, but how are we gonna get there? Cause the girl can't swim.
I gotta pee.
You have two.
There's an ocean. Go
You have
over
two
the
options.
side.
You can attempt to work together to try to just like ferry or swim everyone over. You can also spend a day or two rebuilding your ship. But you only have so much food. And so after that, you might not have any more for the rest of the trip.
How long has it been?
It's only been like an hour.
Because if I still have an ice block floating somewhere, I'm gonna go get that.
It's a cantrip. I can just do it again. And Brian can do it again.
And
So-
then we could have our swimmers push it.
Yeah.
So I vote that
We
do.
can make it into a chair.
I vote
Nice chair.
A floating sofa.
we
For the
Double
ones that
decker.
don't swim well.
that we go to the island. That we all minus me swim to the island
Mhm.
and see what's up, and maybe find things that can fix our boat, like trees and vines and food.
I
We have,
mean,
like,
the
an
ones
anchor
that are not
down.
good swimmers should
Will
probably also not swim.
be
2
on the
miles.
ice.
2 miles is a long way.
We'll be on the ice.
Well, the thing is, if we go to the island, will we completely lose our boat? Because, like, if we don't fix it, is it gonna sink? Is it gonna float away? Like, do we
It's probably gonna
just
sink.
steal another one?
Not at
How
all.
big is this island? Can we, like, see average land size?
It looks not too big, about 2 miles across.
See, I don't know if we're gonna find another boat at this island.
But we could get materials to. Okay, idea. Swimmers swim to the island. Non-swimmers stay on the boat and keep it from getting worse.
Well, if he leaves, water starts rushing back into the boat. I'm breaking fourth wall because I'm tired of being stupid for a minute. As soon as he leaves, his concentration spell breaks, so water starts rushing back into the boat, and the boat's gonna start sinking again.
Can you swim?
Not with a 150-pound cannon strapped to my arm.
Can you wait? Is it always attached to you?
Yes,
Or can
we
you
can. Yeah.
leave it? Okay. Well, if you could just leave it on the boat for an hour.
But then it
I don't
might
think
sink
we can
into
leave the
ocean.
boat and come back though.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be able to do that.
Also, splitting the party sounds like a really bad idea.
Yeah.
How about if we just like set a time limit and we say we're gonna spend this much time trying to fix the boat, and if we can't fix the boat by then, we're gonna leave.
You look at the water flow that you're blocking, Brian, and you probably estimate that the ship would last about 20 minutes before it would sink.
Oh, jeez.
I don't think
What?
we're gonna be able to repair it.
If it's not being blocked at all.
Yeah.
If it just goes
Oh,
unchecked.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We probably don't have enough wood to repair
So
it.
it's been about an hour. So
Well, he's holding it.
right.
Yeah.
And you
We can
and
also-
you said it would take about a day for us to try to fix it or to fix it.
To fix the whole ship, to make it workable. Yeah.
Are we gonna? But
Can we make it where he just casts a spell there, and then we fix the mast and just try to sail there with a broken boat?
That's an interesting idea.
I like.
I would definitely allow it.
There will be consequences because it's Nathan.
Well, actually, then we could use
I'm just talking about your
pieces
problem
of
is-
this boat to build like
A new boat,
a
yeah.
new smaller boat.
A boat that 6 of us can handle without somebody who actually knows what they're doing.
Yeah. So I say let's
I'm
do
in
that.
favor of this. Let's fix the mast.
Let's-
I'm gonna
okay.
try and fix the
Let's do
mast.
that.
Okay, so here's how what we're gonna do.
I don't know if I
We're gonna say
And I just I want to do this as I'm cleaning up, like we're finishing this up.
Sure.
I uncharacteristically say thank you to her for helping me do it.
oh, nice. You were inspired. Just enough. Just the right amount. So I'm gonna say you do it. You accomplish this. You hold the water back. You all fix the masts and things enough to work a little. If you're using this boat in combat or in like chase sequences in the future, there will be disadvantages that I'll explain then. But for now, it can definitely get you the mile or so to the island. I assume you choose to do that.
Yes.
Okay? So you sail your boats and you arrive at the island of Leonis, the mark
Oh, of course.
of strength. And as Aldrich stands and steers the ship as you bring it towards the island, your tattoo begins to glow even brighter. The closer you get to the center of the island, it appears, the stronger that your feelings will get. And then you reach the island itself.
Well, I have pretty much
As you pull up to the island, this is what you see in front of you. I wish I had something a little more hype. Let's do...
Wait, is that on
this.
Sonos?
No.
No, because this is YouTube. I'm not worrying about it too much right now.
Okay, that's fine.
This might do it. This island opens up in front of you, and you see a weird and wonderful sight. It is a 2-mile long circular island that has sandy beaches along all sides, and it is arid. There aren't many plants on this island. There's not a lot of lush life on this island, and it cuts into a massive red rock spire that comes up at one level, juts inward, slopes up to a second level, and then eventually climbs its way to the top for a flat, smaller rock formation at the top.
Guys, we're in purgatory.
And as all of you sit there, you look at the island and you see, Alric, that a beam of orange light focuses on the top of this island. And all of you are on the land. And, maybe most interestingly, the moment that you step onto the land itself, it's daytime on the island. The night is gone, the light is there, and if you look out in any direction around you, there's no fog, only horizons and sunshine. And if you, since I know one of you will, if you get back onto the boat or step off of the island, back to nighttime,
So is
back
that
to
if
the
we
fog.
just touch the like if we go if like we are ankle deep in water, it's nighttime.
No, if you touch the land. Like if you swam out far enough,
Okay.
basically. Yeah.
So like we can gather water and like
Yeah.
and it won't just
Why
get
you
dark.
would want to gather seawater, I'm not sure.
Because we can boil. Well, if we make a fire, we can boil it and like condensation. And
I actually have a spell that is purify food and drink.
there we go.
Amazing. Super useful.
I saw this island in a VeggieTales movie once.
Oh, I don't know what one that is. So, all of you are there, and as you step foot onto the island, this is great. Let me get a perception check from everybody.
Wait, what's
Nat
the
20!
I got an 18.
I got a
19.
16.
I got a 19.
22.
Okay. Nice. Anybody with an 16 or higher?
Nat 20.
Holy crap. Okay, this will be very helpful for you all.
I'm gonna see something.
The four of you, Bubba, and just practicing names here, Briella and Alric and Brian, you stand there, and the moment that your feet hit the beach, you start to see movement among the rocks on the beach. There's shaking in the rocks.
Oh no.
And
It's the wildebeest.
and all these stones, so there are seashells and there are stones that line the lengths of this beach. And out, as you're watching what is happening, the rocks themselves turn around and you see
Trolls.
crabs with large rocky claws that then turn, and the moment that they see you, these 3 crabs immediately
They run at us.
run to attack.
How big
Yeah.
are they?
Yeah, how big are they?
We're gonna say they're about 4 feet tall.
No,
There's
but
your
like
height.
size.
What's up?
Like size.
4 by.
No, size distinction.
Are they medium monsters or are they
small?
large?
Oh,
monsters?
they are medium size. Okay, I need everyone to roll for initiative. Let's fight something today.
I got a 4.
Do I subtract or add anything? I got an 8.
It's your dexterity
I got a
modifier.
10.
I also got a 10.
Wait,
I also got a 10.
give me back Alric.
Okay, so higher than 15, say it. Higher than 10, say it.
What have we got?
Me,
got it.
I got a 12.
Okay, so then 10, 10,
And 10.
and 10. Oh, shoot, okay.
What a thing!
What is the distinction?
It's your dexterity, whoever has the highest dexterity modifier.
I'm plus 2.
I'm a plus.
Okay,
So
then.
re-roll. We're rolling off.
Okay.
So Briella's last.
Right.
I got a nat 20.
Great.
First nat 20 instead of
Brian, you had a
8.
8, and Alric had a Great. Weren't really ready for this one here on Strength Island.
I'm still looking at the light. And
At least I'm not tied
So,
to anything.
a quick reminder of how combat's going to work. Obviously, this is the easiest way to prepare for your move as they come. Oh, and sorry, could you make some crabs for me? I'm not going to go on the same.
You never told us what the extra bonus action is.
Yeah, I never had you write them down.
Wait,
the homebrew
you just
rules.
want one thing for crab?
Yes, I do. Thank you. So, for all of you who maybe don't know,
Can you
it's
text that document to all of us?
sure.
Okay, never mind.
So the rules of the game are that you have a move, an action, and a bonus action. Typically, most of the things that are actually useful are actions, and bonus action is for a few things that your class might be able to do. I've made it a little more flexible so that you can do more things as bonus actions. That's the only change I've made. I previously said that you can use move as a bonus action. I am taking that back. So it's pretty much the original rules. You can move as your move, and you move as your action. That's called a dash. It's just the way it used to be. It's how the game normally works. But the other change is still in place. So let me text Annie, Carrie, KJ, Brock, Jackie,
quick question.
and Sean. There it is.
Are my guns unusable?
Why?
Because they'd be wet.
As
No, you
are
can-
his cannon?
You can use it.
Or is his cannon? Okay.
Yeah, we're just assuming they're
I'm assuming we didn't lose any of our
No.
actual
Yeah, you didn't lose
stuff.
anything. You didn't lose anything.
It's
Cool.
arid. They
Although
can
your
ride.
ale has worn off by this point, so
Oh, well,
because it
I'm
took you
not-
several hours. So.
And I'm also not on the water, so
Right.
I'm fine.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I'm just making sure you know. So
I figured.
okay.
I figured once I wasn't scared.
So
it was fine.
you can look through this list, but if you go down, this is all that it means. A lot of these things that used to be just bonus action, or sorry, just used to be actions, you can do as bonus actions. And I will have you write them down later, not now, so we can get a fight in tonight. But grapple, shove, dodge, escape a grapple, hide, and help. Well, hide if you're behind full cover only. Those things you can do essentially as your bonus action. It's gonna allow you to do more things. And for those who don't feel super comfortable with this just yet, what I would have you do is just say, Nathan, I want to do this and this. And then I'll just tell you the best version of what you can do if that's not allowed. If you want to make something up, please do. Be like, I want to turn this into ice and throw it at him or whatever. I will make my best judgment call. I want creative combat. That's mostly why I've done this rule set. Yes?
Can we use bonus actions to reload our weapons? Or do we have to use our full action to do that?
Yes, bonus action is for loading. Yep. I should add that to this list.
Sorry,
You didn't touch me.
I touched KJ.
Cool.
We bypassed
Did you make me some?
altogether.
No, I was
Great.
like, I'm nowhere near it. I think this just happened.
Cool. Funny.
What? I don't have my glasses on.
So
What
this one's going to be mapless. I'm going to describe what's in front of you. You've just stepped off this ship. You're all relatively close together, and these three rocks that were in front of you have turned around and are attacking you. It is flat. There's water behind you. There's the ship behind you, and in front of you, behind the crabs, about 30 feet behind them, it slopes upward to reach more of a regular rocky, arid mainland. Yes.
How close are they?
To you right now?
Yeah.
They are 30 feet away from you.
Oh,
They were
cool.
hiding and are now attacking. But
Are they approaching?
enough of you noticed it to where none of you are surprised. I'm going to say you just called it out. And so you have three giant, well, not giant, but three large crabs, larger than normal crabs. They're medium size, if you want to know, that are attacking all of you. And looks like they got the jump on you. So let's have them go first.
If they're coming after us, don't we get attack of opportunity? Because they're approaching us?
It depends on positioning, but no. Because the opportunity is usually when they're doing an action in front of you that isn't attacking, or they're leaving your zone of your melee range. So I am going to, let's do this. So first crowd runs up, and actually I'm going to briefly mark where everyone else is. Just do something like this.
Nothing that's really helpful.
Okay. So the first crab runs directly up to Alric.
I don't like you.
And this crab is going to do two things. The first crab is going to use, so he's got a multi-attack as both of his pincers strike through. What I need is everyone's AC. That's what I forgot to collect. 12?
14.
Oh,
11.
14.
Wow, we're so squishy.
11.
How
Guys.
do you determine AC?
It's based on what armor you wear.
He determined it for me.
I never did that.
What armor are you proficient in?
I am proficient in leather armor.
So you probably have 14.
Or
No, because I have leather armor and I have 11.
no, you would
You're a
have
bard.
you would
But I'm
have
a
12.
bard.
You're a caster. You're squishy.
Because it'll be 12 plus your dex.
So leather is light, which means that his dex mod can add up to 2 to that, right?
Yeah, so the blurb on sea elves.
What's-
was
what's your
they
dexterity
basically
modifier?
run around naked
Dex
and don't
mod
wear armor.
is
And I was like, oh, great.
Plus 0.
0.
Cool. Got it.
Be 11.
Plus proficiency.
Nathan, I have a
plus...
quick question.
What's up?
You don't,
Um,
you don't get
I
proficiency
thought
for armor.
my 2 things for the Way of the Four Elements cost a key each.
Yep.
But this says, this just says some disciplines require you to spend key points when you use it.
Yep.
But then it doesn't say specifically if these require key.
Which ones?
The 2 that I chose, Fang of the Frost Wolf and
Key.
Shape of the Flowing River.
Also key.
So which ones don't?
It's
Okay,
10
whatever.
plus your dex modifier.
Good.
So the first crab runs directly up to. So I now have everyone. Oh, and Sean, what is yours?
14.
14. Okay, cool. The druid and the sorcerer have the best armor class.
Because I can use a shield.
I'm an 11.
Oh, got it. Oh, then I wrote his in your spot. That's what's wrong.
And mine is 11 as well.
Okay.
I have 12.
Oh man.
Cool,
What's
cool,
yours,
cool.
Annie?
Don't mind me with my 10 hit points because I took 5 damage out of my 15
Mystical
damage.
object. You struck it.
That was a third of my health.
I just decided to roll d6. You got unlucky. Oh.
Ah.
First crab runs up, attacks Ulrich. So his little pincery comes in and it strikes you in the side as it clamps down, and you hear just this kind of a tearing noise
Ew.
at your
Ow.
flesh, and you
Ow.
and you're going to take. That's only 3 damage. And he takes his other pincer and he thrusts it in, and you're able to parry and block it off of you as he tries to go for you there. The second crab runs up, and it is going to go to Briella.
Of course it is.
And it is going. What I need from you is a strength saving throw. As this crab is
Yeah.
going to try. Go ahead.
Oof.
I got a 0. No.
2.
Strength.
2. Doesn't matter.
3
It
minus
doesn't
3.
matter. It's not enough.
0.
It's a 0.
The rest of you watch as this crab grabs and picks up Briella and prepares to scuttle away with her.
Why? I'm not lying.
You are now
Excuse me.
you are now restrained, which means that you
Wait,
can't.
I have my hands, right?
You have your hands
Can I use my rapier?
on your turn. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can attack with disadvantage.
Okay.
You can't move, but you can
That's fine.
use your turn a bonus action to try to get yourself out of it.
Okay.
Cool.
Just so I know.
Yep. Next, and the third crab goes up and is going to attack Bubba. And so he runs up, he takes one claw, and he stabs you in the leg, and you take 5 damage. And he takes his other pincer, runs up, and absolutely misses. You watch as Bubba just hobbles over him as the other claw is still stuck in your side, and you pry it off of you.
Nice.
That takes us to the order. So the way order works is I'm going to try to not say, hey, it's your turn. I'm just going to rely on all of you just going, I do this, and just kind of interrupt the previous person. Well, jump in when the previous person
Yeah.
does.
So tell me where these crabs are. Are they within...
So they've all run right up to all of you. You're a group. You're all together. And she's in the second crab's hands.
Like,
Are
I'm
we,
being taken away.
So the 2 that are not carrying
You're not
her,
having a good
Yeah.
are they within 5 feet of us?
I'm going to say 2 of them are for you.
I can use some tokens. We got these tokens.
Yeah. I don't. What I want to avoid is people thinking too hard about positioning
Well, I
for
need
its
to
own
know
sake.
for my spell.
Yeah, and I get it. I get for spells that's how it works. If we're gonna do that, then let me just make this easier. Well, okay, those are cool.
But in that case, I'm not going to use my
Do it
spell.
freeze.
So
Freeze two.
I'm going to do a very arbitrary, spinning kick in the air, and then use my trident. The kick was just to look cool.
Okay, cool. So let's do this. Each of you pick a color.
Well, no, I'm picking color based on my light.
That
I'll
makes
take
sense.
the red one since I'm wine colored.
I'll take the blue.
This makes
Mine's
sense.
Oh wait.
Why?
I wish your colors all match.
Later.
Cool. So here's
I'll be like.
here's how we're gonna cast it.
Oh, we have 6. Okay.
So it's gonna be It's gonna be water, ship, group,
Man, they did not waste any time, huh?
I'm just chilling.
And I'm just gonna loosely say, Annie, you're green, right?
Yeah.
That these two are within 5 feet of you. And 5 feet of each other.
Well, okay, darn. Then yeah, I'm gonna use my trident, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna stab at the one that's holding her. So
Please don't miss and hit me.
So he'll drop. That's 10 to hit.
As a 10 to hit, that's not good enough.
I think.
So you
Doesn't hit
take
me.
your no, it doesn't.
Only a crit fail.
And even then, rarely am I going to do that.
Okay.
I might make it funny, but I'm not going to have it actually do anything. So yeah, stabs, and this crab is really fast, and as it is strong enough to carry a person, it just goes it moves left and right as it dodges your attack.
Okay, cool. Then I'm going to dodge as my bonus action.
Got it. Cool.
I'm just
I am going to
screaming.
now shoot my cannon at the claw, at the where the claw beats the crab.
Okay.
To try and shoot this crab's claw off that is holding her.
Okay. I'm going to add 3 to the AC, and if you land, then it automatically happens.
17.
That is enough. You watch as Bubba just shoots off the claw of this crab. And which one were you targeting?
The one that
holding her.
Middle one. Okay, cool. So he only has one of his 2 claw attacks now because he is clawless. That also frees you. So you tumble off of this crab and you are no longer restrained.
Do you want me to roll damage or are you just...
Yeah, roll damage. Definitely roll damage.
Cool. 7 plus 3, 10.
10? Cool. Cool. He looks pretty bad.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to eat that.
I know.
I have other food.
You're now free.
Fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
I like cheating.
Yeah.
Okay.
I failed.
Oh, and another rule, or kind of a table rule, everyone say done with my turn or done, when you're done so that the next person just jumps in. Makes things go faster.
And I'm my turn.
Missing my music.
Why do you have these efficiency proficiency?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question about mechanics for using trident and net at the same time.
Yeah.
Can I cast my net and also use my trident?
In a turn?
Use one as a bonus action? Use casting the net as a bonus action?
Man, in any other context, that would be pretty good, which would be a full action, which would make the attack of the trident a full action as well.
And then you get this on top of that?
How about this? For now, you can't, but when you level up, you might have the ability to unlock a custom feat I might make that will allow you to just treat one of those as a bonus action. So you kind of just...
Advantage, you get that bonus damage.
If
So,
you're proficient in it,
if
you
I
get the bonus
can't
damage
do
from
both,
what kind
then
of weapon
I'm
it is.
going
So
to
say, for me, if it's
the net
proficient
with
strength
trident.
weapon, this is a strength weapon.
Yes.
So I get my
Use the
plus
net
3
and
from
try and
strength.
restrain
If
him.
it's a
Yeah,
finesse,
if you
it's
succeed, you will
usually
restrain
your
him.
dex.
Which gives advantage to...
It's a DC 10 strength check.
Oh, it's a save. Okay.
Yeah.
They're pretty strong. Not strong enough.
Cool.
So you watch as Shui just and nets this one on the right here. He is restrained,
Nice.
and there you go. Okay.
Now, now everyone that's attacking that has an advantage on attacking
Yeah.
because it's restrained.
On melee attacks.
On melee.
Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm stabbing the one that.
Is restrained.
No, the one. I'm closest to the one that was holding
Yeah,
me.
you can hit any of them. Frankly, you're also close. You can run and hit any of them.
Okay.
But yeah, you
Well,
stab the one next to you. Why
I want to
not?
stab the one next to me.
He's the one that looks bad.
Because I figure I can get above his below his rockiness. With my
Okay.
rapier,
Okay. Okay.
his squishy middle.
So you are assuming that underneath their rocky shell, there's like a soft
Because
underbelly.
it's a crab, so it's softer than their outside.
Roll attack with advantage.
Okay.
Roll in d4.
I rolled
12.
12.
So roll again, you have advantage. He
Okay.
just said attack with advantage
She
because
got
the
16.
underbelly is soft.
I got a
16.
16.
Yeah.
16, roll again. To see if you... Okay,
No.
she doesn't.
You do hit
Okay,
as you strike this crab in the belly.
Which is...
You found out my little crab gimmick.
So I can roll my d8.
Yeah. I was gonna. I mean, like,
2.
Plus
yeah,
2.
4.
4 damage. Okay, still looking pretty bad. Not dead,
Not dead. But worse.
but worse. Definitely worse.
I'm done.
Shui's next. Or no,
No,
Briella, Baba, Briella, Brian. I'll get used to this. I'm sure. Brian's next.
Alright, so I cast my spell, Speak with Animals.
Okay.
And I talk to them. I say, "You guys don't want to do this. We don't mean you any harm, and we don't taste very good."
We definitely just.
Which crab are you
blew off
talking
one of
to?
their arms.
You're just talking to all of them in general?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one right here, he looks at you and he goes, "You're gonna come in. You're gonna come in. You're gonna come into our home and what are you doing here?"
We were saved by Leonis, and he directed us here.
"I don't know who that is."
Well, he was a pretty powerful guy, and apparently this is his little island. So we came here because it's the only place we could go. So we're not trying to cause any trouble.
Let's go ahead, do a persuasion check. I'm gonna do it with disadvantage because you don't have, this crab doesn't completely understand what you're saying.
15.
Nice rolling.
I know, right? Persuasion, so that's a 13.
You got a 13?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say that this crab, he looks at you and he goes, "Don't touch any of us." He waves his hands like
Don't
this.
touch any of us.
And he goes, and he backs up, and then you notice as the rest of these units start slowly backing up while looking at all of you. This would be your chance to get an opportunity attack if you wanted one.
I actually don't want to.
I don't want to make him any more angry.
Okay.
I'm waiting for them to get far
They
enough
run
away
back,
so I can
and
cook
this,
that
and you
crab
see,
leg.
you see as they, oopsie, you see as they turn around, and they simply move down the beach a little bit in different directions, and they flip, and they turn, and they go back into looking exactly like the rocks around them.
As they start walking away, I bow to them.
You get out of the crowds.
Like, all right.
They don't seem to pay much mind. Okay, well there you go. What's up?
Awesome.
Can I pick up that crab claw and cook it?
The claw that's on the ground.
Yeah.
You
That was holding me?
Yes.
yeah. So just so you know,
No,
the shell of this crab is entirely stone.
Oh.
The shell is, but not the inside.
You want to try to get to the inside?
I'm trying to get to the inside.
Well, you already broke it off. You just pull it out.
Okay.
I said earlier I was hungry.
Okay, so you look
So-
inside of it, and it looks pretty weird. It's kind of got this texture that is a mixture of meat and sand. That is what the meat looks like.
Taste it.
Taste
I'm
it.
cooked. I'm
Like,
not
you
gonna.
won't.
See, I've learned from a previous thing. You don't eat raw crab. All right. I cook it and then I try it.
You're gonna set up a campfire and cook it right here on the beach.
Yeah. As
In
long as
full
nobody.
view of the crabs?
They're flipped over and back to rocks. I don't care.
They're flipping.
So
sleeping.
this will take you like 30 minutes at least. You're gonna have to find wood, set it up, light the fire.
I
do
go
what you
over
wanna
to
do.
him and say, "Bubba, we'll get you some food later, okay?"
Persuasion roll.
You okay? I mean, hey, he's gonna have you
Are you all
persuade him.
rolling against
You
each
have
other?
a DC?
I'll just do
Yeah.
it
So
against.
I roll persuasion and then against his intuition or something or intelligence.
I honestly,
I'll
he's
do it
the
against
player
my
character.
intelligence.
He's probably gonna set his own DC for you.
You pass.
20.
You pass.
Okay, you successfully persuade Bubba to not spend the first half hour on this beach cooking a sandy meat claw from one of your crabs. And so you look up and you see that there is a ridge in front of you that you have to climb. It's a steep slope, then a flat area that's made of rock, then another steep ridge, and then a final steep ridge that takes you to the very top. It's maybe 250 feet up.
Alright,
And at
let's
the
pull
very
out
top,
that heat action.
How tall is the first ridge?
the first ridge is about 50 feet tall.
Oh, jeez, that's way taller than
Man, none of my
Let's just say
spells are coming
50-50
in
and then
right
150
now.
is the final one.
Okay. Alright. I'll go.
Can I use my bonus action and a sprint action to get up the first one? That's something.
Are we combating this thing or can we just climb?
Oh, you're not in combat. You're
Can
not
we
in
just
combat.
walk?
So at this point you're looking at it and it looks like a dirty rock surface. You could try to just claw into it, but otherwise you'd have to just rock climb. You'd have to find certain footholds and get up that way.
How else could you get up there?
Can we like walk
stop it.
around?
I'm
doing a perception check to see if there's any.
Say again?
I
Can we like walk around and see if there's a path to
Yeah.
get to
Yeah,
the
like
top?
maybe,
Sure.
So
It would
there's
take you. It would
also-
take you maybe an hour to circle the entire island.
Oh jeez.
Does anybody have any rope?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
I could turn into a spider and climb up there.
Mm-mm.
Wait, what?
Can you carry an end of the rope with you?
I don't know.
Anything I carry turns into my wild shape, so I can wild shape into
Oh,
a
okay.
spider.
Pile
Oh,
of
so like
rope
climb
on
up, then throw it down. Basically.
Yeah, like
Nice.
tie it
Yeah,
all
That's
up there.
smart.
Okay.
I like
You can absolutely
it.
do that. Yeah.
All right, so
I'll
I'll go
think the problem.
and I climb up.
Okay.
And is there anywhere up there that I could tie a rope to?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a rock nearby. You
Oh,
can
wait, how
fasten
far
it
are you
on.
going? Just to 50? Or the
Yeah.
whole?
This first one's good.
So I go up there, tie
Tie
off
the rope.
200
Throw it down.
foot cliff.
All right, you guys, let's go. Probably one at a time.
Yeah.
Did
So
you grind? That was
if
genius.
you can climb, I'm gonna have all of you do it at once for speed. Just roll one athletics check, and unless you roll really poorly, you'll get up without any hassle.
Nat 20.
I
Just flip up.
rolled an 8.
Okay.
Got an 18.
I rolled an 8.
5 is enough. So with the rope, it's pretty easy, especially since you have each other's help. You all get up the first ridge. You're 50 feet up this
Yay.
250-foot mount. And while it'd be really cool to end on a cliffhanger, like what awaits you at the
Oh
top
my
of the
gosh.
spire,
Literally?
now is a good time for us to stop. So that is where we're going to end our session. You have made it to the island of Leonis. You have opened the portal and activated the gift of the Mark of Strength, and now, after having avoided conflict with the crabs on the beach, you are attempting to scale the rocky spire.